All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on our Sunday morning tradition that continues on again into our 14th season. By the end of this NFL season, it will be 15 years here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, having a lot of fun doing what we do each and every week, regardless if it's in the middle of the NFL season or in the off season. But obviously our stuff is NFL. It is week 10 of the NFL, and that's what we are here for today, as we have been looking at. I slid out of first place on the picks. Doggone you, Bryce from Brooklyn. I'm coming for you. I'm going to try to get it back because, I'm kind of bummed that I did lose out on first place, and so hopefully that'll get better. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We bring in the fine co-host of this program, but as usually, fashionably late. But I got some of the other misfits I want and coming and joining. And you want to talk misfit. This guy right here. This guy right here is a misfit. I don't know what more we can say outside of misfit. Maybe crazy. Maybe just a guy. It is Trey Mack. Just a guy, maybe. I don't know. How you doing? Good morning, sir.
How the hell am I a misfit?
Well, everybody besides the hosts and co-hosts on the show are
you're a freaking
misfit.
elf. You're a freaking elf. I mean, I saw your pictures.
Hey,
if anybody fits the place of a misfit, it'd be you.
Well, I'm definitely kind of a misfit half the time. But I'm going to tell you right now, that is not an easy gig, just to let you know. I am so I cannot tell you how tired I am. I don't know if there's enough sleep to get over what had just happened.
I saw you and Mrs. Claus going at it. I saw that. Yeah, you and the
Claus. We had a blast. We had a blast, man. So if you grow this thing out, man, maybe you could become a Santa too. Dueling Santas.
No, listen, I did the Easter Bunny thing at Presswood Mall back when I was 18.
I'm
doing that shit again.
You scare them away. Well. Listen much. Now, but I only had 2 babies out of the 6 that I had cry, so I did pretty good. That being said, in Easter, it's got to be a hot costume. I mean, I got lucky. Yesterday it was 62 degrees max, so being in the suit, it wasn't a big deal, except for the sweat that was, developing a puddle up underneath the hat. Outside of that, I was okay.
I think it'd been funny had a kid come sit on your lap and you say, let me ask you a question. What do you think the Cowboys play this week against the Giants? Now, what do you think? You start asking sports opinions to all these kids as opposed to what do they want for Christmas. I think that'd have been a lot more better fodder for us.
Ask what their sports question is instead of. I get it. Hey, sporty Santa, man. What can you say? but it's going to be a long. I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to just try not to fall asleep in the middle of them. That's my only thing today. But I feel good for the show. It's physically tired, but normally when we start doing the show, the adrenaline starts kicking in, and then all of a sudden, we've done a 3.5 hour show, and we missed the first half hour of the games.
By the way, I need to clarify something for everybody from last week.
Okay.
Last week when you started the show, you said that I had just done the Rod Stewart concert that Saturday, and that I had to go into work that Sunday. That's why I had to miss the show. No, see, Rod Stewart was slated to be there on Sunday. I had a wrestling show on Saturday, and then when I showed up to work on Sunday to do the load-in for his concert, I had found out that he had canceled because he had been sick or whatnot. So we had to go sit there and tell everybody, I'm sorry, Rod Stewart cannot be here today because, he is sick. His show has been postponed until February 8th. And to have people tell us, we have people flying in from out of the country to come see him, going, out of country.
Okay,
Oklahoma?
ride sick.
I'm like, you have a better chance of catching him in England than you do over here. But whatever. But anyway, it was funny too because we were given the script to how to tell everybody the nice way that he wasn't going to be here. Bye, Sonny.
I had to turn my fan on. I was dying here.
No, but anyway, we were given a certain script to tell everybody, and I just said, "Hey guys, is it cool if I break out in the Hulk Hogan and go? Let me tell you something, brothers. February 8th, 2024. Rod Stewart's gonna be back here Wednesday." I mean, I couldn't do that, so they wouldn't let me do it.
It's too bad they wouldn't. That would be great. That would be perfect. I think.
I sit there like, yeah, couldn't make the show, could he? No.
Oh, how'd you do last week in your picks, by the way?
I think I lost like 4. So I mean,
you had a good. You had a good week.
There.
Okay, you broke up. What? You broke up.
I'm climbing back up. Jesus, put interrupting me. No, I kept trying to climb up the ladder there. I mean, I lost 4 that I know of. Of course, I lost the Cowboy game because last second I said, maybe the Cowboys will pull it off. Yeah, that worked out so well. So, but I was not alone in that pick though, from what I understand. I understand you picked the Cowboys as well.
I did. I picked the Cowboys as well. You're absolutely right. But that being said, it looks like I am on top with a tie with Bryce from Brooklyn, but it's actually Bryce has one more than everybody else because we were working together at the time the game was trying. So I gave him that game since he was on the Lions. But you're right. Bryce from Brooklyn has 91. I have 90, and you have 88. So you're doing pretty well. And like you said, last week you had a pretty good week. You had 10. I had 9. And Bryce pulled ahead of us. He had 12. I mean, he missed only 2: Atlanta and New England. So
my main concern is beating you. I don't care about the number 1 spot. My job is to beat you.
Yeah,
but, both our picks are pretty much almost alike. Almost, it's hard to get that 1 game advantage over you.
Yeah,
I think I do have it. Then all of a sudden, Arizona can't win a game, and I'm like, "Oh, there we go again." So,
well, you picking Arizona, that you shouldn't be doing that kind of thing.
I don't think I'm picking Arizona now, but I mean, I was then.
Yeah, I know. I remember. I was like, and you were the only one on, and I'm like, he's on Arizona. Why? And usually, I ask certain people. I have to ask myself why. Bryce from Brooklyn, Tarvin, and you. When you guys are picked opposite against most of the people, I start getting worried that I missed something. So you got that. I mean, that's a compliment, by the way, in case you didn't know.
But here's the thing: it's the NFL, right? Any given Sunday, and upsets happen weekly. So, it's just a matter of finding that 1 game that's not going to be it's going to be the upset. And that's the trick of it all, right there.
Mm-hmm. And it would help if people would make their picks on Thursday. We had Obi, Fred Clark, as well as Roadrunner in Pittsburgh Power. Thank you, Pittsburgh Power, for not making that pick. Now I'm only 1 behind you. Yes, no excuses, my friend. But just to give you an idea, there is a game that's going on. Indianapolis is taking on New England over in Germany, and so we'll kind of keep you up to date. Only 2 people are on New England, Brian Tarvin and Pittsburgh Power, which now has me worried that I freaking got the wrong pick. It drives me nuts. Those 2 guys by themselves, So hopefully the Indianapolis Colts can pull that one off. So, but that is the first game that's going on. I mean, did you have any thoughts or any dialogue on what your pick was all about when you went Indianapolis compared to the New England Patriots?
I just thought the Patriots are more of a disaster than Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis still has players outside the backup quarterback that can still do stuff, whereas, the Patriots, they're
It,
talking about firing Belichick. They're talking about, what they're going to do at quarterback, what they're going to do at so-and-so situation. I mean, New England, as hard as it is, didn't take long for them to fall into hell, and they definitely fell into that with the departure of Tom Brady and the non-emergence of their current quarterback, and of course
yeah.
Belichick just not giving a shit. So
I,
I think Belichick is a general manager. He's kind of mailing this thing in, saying, "Well, what can we do draft wise right now?" Not,
well, that's Bill
not,
Belichick. Bill Belichick's
yeah.
also the general manager, in case you didn't know.
I just said that.
Oh, I thought you must have broke up because I thought just like
No,
right
I
there you
didn't break
broke
up,
up.
sir. Sir,
So
I did cross the state lines, so maybe I had to do it.
maybe that was it. Going to Oklahoma or going back home, or are you going to work? By the way,
I'm heading to Texas, drop my son off, and then I'm heading back up to Oklahoma to go to work.
gotcha. So
It's
on the road.
it's one of those weeks. So, which by the way, I was happy to say that my son yesterday went bowling yesterday. He bowled 136, an all-time best for
Wow,
him.
I saw that. I saw that pickup spare video of his. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he was hitting it on a lot of different directions yesterday. So good for him. Happy for him. Um, we watched The Founder last night, the story of McDonald's with Michael Keaton. He is such a great actor. Big
Uh,
fan.
I would like to see them. I've seen like pictures where they're trying to make him another movie, kind of like most poster movies with him. Are they actually doing that, or is those are just makeup and hopes for everybody who liked him?
Well, I know he's filming Beetlejuice 2 right now, which is 30 years too late, but whatever. I'm sure he can pull it off. I mean, he pulled off being Batman again in the Flash movie, although that movie wasn't as great as everybody thought it would be. But he's Michael Keaton. He is such a great villain in movies too.
Yes,
That
I've seen a lot of it. He's done like 4 or 5 really good movies where he's not Mr. Nice Guy.
Desperate Measure is my favorite movie that he did as a villain. Thought he was great in
Seen it.
that.
That's good. So, by the way, back to football. I love how we hit that fork in the road and we just go out to the side. But anyway, no, I like it. That's why we do the show. I mean, who knows? But back to the game. Okay, as far as that was concerned, I was looking at Indianapolis. You're right. They're getting out. They're getting Gardner Minshew to do what he does, which is be a backup quarterback. He's supposed to go in there and win you some games if at all possible. So far, he is doing that. Now, this guy is not a starting quarterback in the NFL as your future. And if you think that you just got a crush on this guy, I don't know what it is. The guy was horrible in Jacksonville when he did have the job to try to do it, and they just couldn't get it done. And then the backup there, and then a couple other places, Philly and other places that he's been. He's not a starting quarterback. He's not that good. Okay, now that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be a backup quarterback. He's just not a starting quarterback. But they are getting the best of him right now when they need him, and that's a huge thing. Now, I don't know how much of them going to Germany is going to affect everybody involved with these games. These two teams are not teams that typically go over to other countries to play football games. So this should be really interesting how they put this game together in order to continue winning as far as Indianapolis are concerned. Or, you said it too. I mean, Bill Belichick right now, there's so many things whirling around him I would never thought or think to believe. I thought I read somewhere he signed an extension on his contract. So I'm thinking all this talk is nonsense, but the more people are talking about it that have authority, the more that I'm actually listening now. And if they decide to let this guy go, this should be interesting. Yeah, all that going on, and players may or may not like him. This is where if he had a lot of mad love from his players, I would think that this is a total nonsense story. But I don't know. I don't think that's the way it is right now. I don't think that Bill Belichick has got the team in his back pocket.
We'll turn his record around. If his record was the other way around, I'm sure his players would love him, right? The media would love him. The players would love him. The fact is that he's not where he used to be, And by the way, this is not his first rodeo to be like that. He wasn't really all that well liked in Cleveland either.
Well,
So
that did
and of
last
course,
very long there. I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. We're talking 20 years
right?
compared to a year.
But
But I get your point.
it goes to show you if you have the talent around you, and he is a good coach, there's no doubt about that. The thing is, if you have the right talent around you to do the right things, then coaching and players and all that stuff, it's all going to mix it the right way. The problem is that with Bill Belichick is that he doesn't have the right person at the helm as his quarterback. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have the right coaches in place because they keep belling because the whole Bill Belichick coaching tree splinters off into well, he used to coach under him. Obviously, he's going to be like him. No, not really. So you're gonna have a lot of that going on. I mean, hell, Landry had that with Mike Ditka and Dan Reeves, who, by the way, had their own successes. So I mean, clearly, you're gonna have a lot of guys who are just gonna up and leave the team. He's got to rebuild, and at his age, does he have the fight to do that anymore? I don't know.
I think about Bill Belichick, and I think about how guys will go into New England and totally disrespect this guy just because he's old. It's old school. And obviously, we talk about the general manager. He is the general manager of this football team, and he's not finding guys in reality that are buying what he's selling. You can say whatever you want about coaches in the NFL. If you can't get the players to buy what you're selling, then you're going to have a hard time. Now, he had many years of success with players coming to this team, buying what he was selling. Now, different regime, different year. 20 years is a long time to be doing what he's doing. Now that entitlement, crowd is starting to make their way into the NFL, and I see a little bit of difference now. One thing I think he's really missing on, and as far as talent is concerned, is that his quarterback position. But let's just be straightforward and honest here. I think he's dropping the ball as far as general manager because if Bill Belichick cannot get you a real quarterback from week to week to week that wants to play for him, that might be the indication that there's a problem. And you're talking about a storied franchise that did what they did, obviously with Tom Brady and all, but to get a replacement that can go in there and take over the helm and be that guy, whether it is a draft like Mac Jones, and obviously they missed on that talent. He is not as talented as they thought he was, or whether or not they could get a real competent backup that could take over the team if it had to happen, and he has not been able to do that. So there's a couple failures there, coaching and general manager. And so I can see where people are talking about in the swirling of the rumors that this might be it for Bill Belichick. I even heard one of them is if they don't win today in Germany, that's going to happen quickly after they get back. So it's really weird about all that stuff today.
But here's the problem with that though. Now you fire your head coach, you fire your general manager as well. And you have the same problem the Raiders have. So, does Kraft really want to put? See, that's my biggest problem with NFL coaches and owners who want to have the general manager as well. Same problem here in Dallas with Jerry Jones. Like if you break it all down, your owner is your biggest fan. Your owner is the guy who goes out there and makes sure everything that the general manager needs can happen. General manager is the one who has to go out there and deal with the scouts, deal with all the different players, deal with the contracts, deal with all that stuff to where what fits the team the best. Your coaches, bottom line. So to sit there and put double two hats on one person like that, you're going to run into chaos like this. And of course, you can sit there and blame Belichick for the non-development of Mac Jones and the fact that he relied on Brady way too long. But then again, Brady was winning for him, so how can you take that away from him? So look, it's a crapshoot. I mean, once again, you lost a big player 4 years ago in Tom Brady, and he went off and had
Absolutely.
success. He went off and had success elsewhere, and it just is what it is. But Belichick's had 4 years to groom one quarterback. It didn't work,
Right.
and now does do you give him a leash? Say, okay, let's go find the next quarterback, or do you sit there and throw the book at him and go, well, you're done. You can't coach no more because you couldn't get this guy to work.
I
That's not
agree
good.
100%. I think that's ludicrous.
I think that's about. I mean, that's not Belichick's fault. Okay,
No.
Sometimes the NFL game does not hit college players the way we think it should. Do you think Shadir Sanders is going to have a prayer in the NFL? I don't think so. He can barely handle college right now. So
Well,
I
he got his
I
what kind of he got his Rolls Royce where they
okay,
put the wheel lock on
but
it the
okay,
other day, which is
okay.
funny.
That has nothing to do with him playing football though. On
No,
the
I know,
field,
but still, it's
on the
funny.
field, he's getting blown up bad right now. He started off strong, but then when college football figured him out, guess what happened? He became a spare.
Yep.
And right now his draft stock is really, really low. He ain't no first round draft choice. He may not even be a second round draft choice, and you might get him as an early fourth or fifth. That's not good for him.
I
Now,
and interestingly enough, from what I'm hearing is he's not going to go into the draft, but, and I think it's because of what you just said right there. That's the reason why he's not going to go in the draft. He's going to go the fourth round, and I don't get it. And because this is just the logistics, regardless of where he is taken in reality, he's going to get the same money regardless. I mean, if right now, if you can see a future with this guy, you know, you pay him, you get him, you pay him that rookie contract, and you're going to pay him that stupid outside of the contract thing. But the question is, how much is that? He's going to get the same amount this year as he will next year, regardless. So I don't see another need for him to stay in college, except per se, maybe develop a little bit more of his game. And before he goes into the NFL, because I don't care what anybody says. And listen, I don't know a lot of things, but this is what I know. The NFL speed is three times the speed in college, and the reason why rookie quarterbacks are not great is because they have to get used to the speed. And so here's what I'll say. I think it's silly for him to stay for another year. Even if he does get picked in the third, fourth round, I think it's silly for him to stay. The more time he has a chance to learn the speed of the NFL, the quicker he's going to be able to get it done. And that would be as a backup so he could see what's going on. But the way the NFL works now, once you grab the next big thing, they want him to start right away. And he's not ready for that.
but here's the thing though: Shadir Sanders is a star in Colorado because of his dad. Okay, now he's got talent to do what he has to because he gets a major push from his dad. He goes to the NFL. There's no major push from his dad, and to make matters worse, he's not a star anymore. So that's the thing that I mean, and I don't know how much money he's making NIL wise, but I mean, the thing is that he's living a pretty good life right now. Okay,
Absolutely.
so does he have the fight to want to go in the NFL and try something different? Because he's never played for anybody other than his dad. You know, that's something you have to consider also.
Now that you say that, I never even thought of that.
So so from what was it, Jackson State to Colorado now? I mean, he's
Yep.
never played with anybody else besides his father. So unless it's a package deal, which is the dumbest thing in sports, when fathers follow their sons into whatever the next phase is. I mean, I had a high school player back. He was a freshman when I was a senior. His dad was a basketball coach on our team, and he was like all state everything. Then when he went to Arkansas, his dad fell to Arkansas.
Yep.
And he ended up sparing
Yep.
out from everybody. So
You can be a standout, but you got to have the talent if you're going to take that next step. It's
and if right now all he has is that last name Sanders,
mm-hmm.
That might
just
be
like Bron's dad, just like Bron's son, Bronny.
Right.
And I hear, just like you just said, I hear that that package deal that's going to happen wherever Bronny's going is LeBron's going next year. So it should be really interesting if that happens. Because right now, LeBron James, just in case anybody didn't know, is not playing really good basketball right now. So you got to kind of watch out for that.
He's playing enough to want to get traded.
Yeah, I made. Yeah, but he's still drawing down. What is it? 54 million to play. He's fine. I think there's too much to worry about as far as Bron is concerned.
It's the LA luxury tax. It's fine.
Yeah, you gotta love it. But so you picked Indianapolis in this game. I picked Indianapolis. A couple of others on there. You picked Indianapolis, but a couple went the New England Patriots side. And I think I understand why they did the New England Patriots side because of the controversy. Sometimes that pulls a team together, but most of the time when you're talking like deals like this, that actually splits them apart. So that's one of the reasons, right? 7-3 right now in favor of Indianapolis as they're still in the first quarter. Keep you updated up on the score of that one that is going on in Germany as far as that is concerned. So,
by the way, how close are we to having teams in Europe now that actually represent Europe?
Say that again because I didn't understand.
Okay, how soon are we from having NFL expansion to where there'll be teams over in Europe, or whether it's Germany or England or wherever else?
I don't think we're very far off. But I think there's going to be a different. At one point I thought there would be four teams that would be kind of like part-time home field over there, and one's being Jacksonville and a couple that go there often. I don't know if we're going to have that team that's over there because now we're talking expansion. Now we're talking, if expansion happens, it has to be done smartly, which means that would be it. You start messing with that, there would have to be at least 4 teams. And then they would all be in one division or one conference to keep it even. Because if you start spreading them out, there's not going to be that thing there. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the NFL can expand right now. I don't think it's a great idea per se.
See, I would think that if they're going to do that, they would test the Canadian waters first, and just see how we would do, how NFL would play up in Canada first before they start going out to England and Germany and everywhere else. But clearly, there's an audience out there because they're filling up the stands. But those are just rarity. Those are rare. It's like, hey, let's go see an NFL game. I don't care who it's going to be. If you have your own team, that's a whole different situation. Because if your team sucks and you're not filling the stands, then you will sit there and go, well, NFL expansion overseas is bad. They can't even draw out there.
I think if it happened, I think if they were going to do that, they need to expand 4 teams in 4 different countries. I do. I think that would be, and just to make it even per se. But man, I don't think right now, I don't think the NFL needs to expand, but the way they added this game each and every year instead of 16 games to 17 games is a prime setup for these games to be taken out of the country so teams don't lose their home games, their total of 8 games that they get at home. So that's the prime reason why they set up one more year to take some guys out on, or one more game to take them out of the country. I don't know. I don't think I would necessarily mind seeing a London team, or but just whether or not that they can find someone that would buy into what the NFL is selling. And I think that could be part of the problem as far as bringing a team from another country in, is to buy what they're selling and pay for everything they got to pay for in order to have an NFL football team over there.
The only thing that sucks is the viewership over here because you're talking games start at 8 or 9, and
Hell yeah,
in some cases it's
awesome.
way too damn early. Now, I don't know what they can do in the way. I mean, I'm not sure what the time frame is over there, but I mean, if they did a night game over there and that started around 12 p.m. our time or whatnot, maybe that would work better. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It's funny because on the Madden game systems that are out there, you go on YouTube, and one guy's actually got a whole division all based on international play. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of thought into this.
I know
So
it makes you wonder if they put a little bit more thought to their career instead of a Madden football, how smart they be in their career. I don't know, or
but you
whatever
know
their
what though?
choice is.
But you know what? They're making money off of YouTube and doing that whole
I
thing.
know.
So
I just don't get it,
they're
but I'm
fine with
never
it.
gonna understand that. It's
They're
like
fine with
God,
it.
they
Hey,
people are watching people play video games on YouTube. Oh my God, just
and
like
oh,
Jesus.
by the way, for everybody who's watching, you can also watch this show, the replay of it on the Options Network on YouTube. Thank you, Sonny, for letting me have the opportunity to do that with you as well. We have a new show coming out in next 2024 that I think you might be interested in. It's called the Trifecta Show, where we take three celebrities, whether they're famous, infamous, or politicians, or sports athletes, or whatever, and those who pass away, there's no heaven or hell. There's just a three-bedroom apartment, and we take three of those people and we put them in an apartment together, and we see if it's a good match. So,
Ah, interesting.
and
So how does that work?
okay. For instance, you had like recently you had Bull from Night Court, or
Yes,
Richard Mole. You had Matthew Perry from Friends, and
yes,
then you had Bobby Knight from
right.
basketball. So imagine putting those three in one in a three-bedroom apartment.
A reality,
And
a heavenly reality show.
yeah, kind of. So it. Okay. For instance, like back in 2017, Earl Hyman, I think is his name. He was the father of Bill Cosby on the Cosby Show.
Okay.
Charles Manson, and then Della Reese in 1 week.
Only from the demented mind of the Podfather.
Exactly. But anyway, it's going to be a segment on Options TV. We're going to do a big roundtable with that. Then I'll break that off as its own separate show on YouTube as well. So we got a lot of new things coming to YouTube as well. And once again, thank you to you. Thank you to referee Joey for doing this show. Which, by the way, he had COVID this last week, so he's feeling better. And go from there.
Cool. As long as I don't have to do anything for it to happen, hey, this
I
is
know.
good.
I know. You are bare minimum, Sonny. So we get on that.
Oh man, I just I'm the hardest working man in sports radio, and just to add another thing on top of it, oh my God!
Well, it's
I
not.
mean,
Well, it's not.
literally, I had a football game Friday night. I turned around less than 12 hours. I was Santa, and then less than 24 hours later, I'm up on this show, and then I got a
Oh,
real job. So it's just like, oh my God,
hey, hey,
I'm feeling
hey.
war. I
This is
know you
why.
do it.
Hey, this is why I couldn't do the show last week because you go from working the Beach Boys on Friday to doing a wrestling show on Saturday to turning around and hoping that Ross Stewart would show up on Sunday.
Yeah,
So you're like, it's
I
a lot to take
understand.
on at one time.
It's a wear out. I know that one, so I do it each and every week. So, but we'll see how the rest of this holiday season goes as far as Santa and everything doing. It was a kick in the pants. It was fun. See, I think you'd be. Hey, you got the natural belly, man. You don't need the stuffing. You're all set, man. I think you'd be great. But you'd probably be that bad bad Santa, that grumpy Santa, kind of thing. You kind of work that into the.
I'd be the Santa that says, "What the fuck do you want, kid?"
Oh, what do you mean you want? What do you want? That kind of that stupid toy? What are you talking? I could just hear it. It's just like
It's like that's the most annoying toy you can ever pick out. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with your parents?
Hey, and a wrestling commentary with a bad Santa and the good Santa, it'd just be great. We see. I've already written it, so there you go.
That was so
There you go.
nice.
There you go. Something, it's in the words.
Speaking of which, we got Sorcade coming December 2nd. So
I might make that one. I may make. I know how good that show. Well, we've called what, two of them, but two of the two that we called were fantastic. I didn't call it last year's, obviously, but the two before that we called the show's fantastic. So I'm going to try. That's the one I'm going to try to. I'm going to definitely try to make it out, and it will be all because of Santa and stuff. If I have a gig and stuff like that, whether or not I'll be making it or how tired I am.
I know it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to that Saturday. You're going, Sonny's too tired. All of a sudden, Sonny talks himself in the third person. Sonny's too tired. Sonny doesn't want to go anywhere. Sonny wants to stay home.
That bed is comfortable. You just don't know.
I would not want to know, no, sir.
Yeah, understand. By the way,
back to football, sir.
Back to football. A lot of the so-called experts, a lot of them are on Indianapolis in the game. So just to give you a heads up, most of the people are there. So watch out for that. So next game up on board, we're gonna start rocking this. I'm not sure if we're gonna get Cuervo. He wasn't sure of his schedule this week, and I haven't talked to him because I am the hardest working man in sports radio, and I just haven't heard from him. So we're just gonna roll on with it and start talking the games. The next game, I didn't have a lot to say about it, but we can obviously talk about the Bengals. They're taking on the Houston Texans. So it's an interesting game as far as, well, how good do you think one team got, in one week, after playing as supposedly well as they are. But Cincinnati's just a different monster when you take a look at what's going on. I mean, I could have went and looked at all the stats on this all day long, but I got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Okay, outside of the quarterback, can you name anybody else on the Texans? It's probably not.
But here's the thing, though. That doesn't matter, though, because Houston's playing really good.
Well, hold on. I didn't say that they couldn't win football games. I'm just saying when you go up against a team like the Bengals, who are who they are, which is a slow-starting football team, and then they start coming on, which is where they're at now. Houston, I took 2 seconds to look at this game. Did you think more than 2 seconds on this game to pick it?
Yeah, because you have to factor in the any given Sunday factor, which is bitten us all in the ass when it comes to picks. Because on paper, yeah, Bengals should win. But this is a measuring stick game for Houston right now. I mean, they see where they're at, and the thing is that
I think I agree with that.
If they play above their paper, then then clearly, Cincinnati being a slow starter, they're playing catch up all game long, and if Stroud and all of them can sit there and just run the score up against them, which is hard to do to begin with, but I mean, if they can do that, then then kudos to Houston. I don't think I picked Houston. I think I picked the Bengals. Once again, I can't look at my picks right now, but I think I went the safe pick because we're getting close on our picks. But the thing is that I need to convince you to pick Houston. But I mean, look,
I get it.
Look, I mean, as I said, every week you have at least one upset, right? Would it surprise me that Houston upsets Cincinnati? No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Would I want that? Probably not.
It would shock me. It would shock me.
It would.
But
it would. But look
that being said, Trey, just think about Go ahead.
No, if you look at this entire year of the NFL, how many games have happened where you sat there and went, "I did not see that happening."
Yeah, well, yeah,
So
yeah.
and the thing is, out of every game this week, let's face it, Dallas and Giants. If the Giants beat the Cowboys, nobody saw that coming, not even the Giants. Okay, so it, you know, I mean, it's like you never know until you get on that field, and all of a sudden Cincinnati starts turning the ball over more, or they're making bonehead mistakes, or just whatever, or lazy tackling, or not taking the game seriously. And Houston's sitting there going, "This is our measuring stick. This is our Super Bowl. This is how we know what we are." I hate to say it, but Houston could be the Arizona Cardinals to the Bengals Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's an any given Sunday factor.
I
Like I said,
I get that point, and that's an interesting point because the no give, never give up kind of thing. I completely get that. In fact, that kind of all makes sense, especially when I did, when I initially made the pick, I just went pick, moved on. When I came back and looked at my picks, obviously, and I did look at the pictures and I did look at the numbers and what number CJ Stroud, okay, is finding wide receivers, okay? And the reason being the pass offense for the Houston Texans is fourth in the NFL with 265 yards a game. They're sixth in the NFL with touchdowns per game. They get close to 2 touchdowns a game passing. That's sixth in the NFL as well. So, and then how about this? 7.5 yards per attempt. That's good for third in the NFL. They're first in the NFL as far as the interceptions, okay? Less than 1.1% on interceptions per game, all right? And say whatever you want, first downs and passing. They're third in the NFL for passing first downs. Those are stats that are kind of really huge in reality. Those are great numbers when you look at them. But numbers are on paper, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are who they are.
You know what's funny? We started this entire thing talking about you didn't give this thing 2 seconds. You just fired off about a minute's worth of stats. So clearly you're a liar. So
no, I said I came back when I initially made the pick. Then I came back and looked at all the games. I did the initial. I didn't even take 2 seconds to think about it. But again, when I came back and looked at them, these are the stats that stood out to me because I was going to look at a little bit of them. So it is what it is. It's kind of thing.
Even the Blues Brothers are looking at you like you think you're crazy.
But hey, sometimes you got to look at the numbers, and sometimes I look at them. But here's my problem. When you looked at the numbers, those passing stats are great. Their rushing stats are all at the bottom of the list, no better than 27th in any kind of rushing offense, whether it's rush per game, whether it's touchdowns per game, rushing per carry, or rushing for first downs, okay? They're all 27th or worse in their running game. So, I think you got to be comparable. You got to be up there in the if they're going to have a chance. This team has to rush the football, and I don't think they're going to get it. In reality, especially when you look at the other side, as far as the rushing defense for the Bengals, they may not be good, but they're not dwelling on the bottom of the NFL for rushing defense. So they should be able to handle that that rushing offense that should be coming at them. So yeah, but
though it's gonna take Houston to have a hot start, get up 17-0 really quick.
I agree.
And put the Bengals in a hole, and then let them try to climb out of it. Now, I'm not saying they can't climb out of that with the players they got, but the thing is, you got to do that, then keep a lot of ball control going. Like you said, that they suck at rushing right now. So, and ball control is all about running the football and killing the clock. So, it's an uphill battle for Houston for sure. But like I said, it's a measuring stick for that team. They're better than they thought they were going to be this year. So let's see how good they are. And
they got to at least stay in the game, I think, though, for the respectability portions of it.
if they keep it under 10, that's very admirable, I think.
I think if they
But
keep it under 14, that they had a
uh,
great day. Because it's hard. Yeah, you're gonna be stopping Joe Burrow, which, by the way,
but
it has been playing outstanding for the last 4 games.
I swear I have Jameer Chase on my fantasy team, and he has sucked all year long. He's had one good game,
Yes,
so
yes. But you'll be
yeah,
glad you have him for the rest of the year. I'm telling you right
I
now.
hope so. I
You
hope
you'll
so.
be glad you got him.
'Cause I can't win worth the shit right now.
Well, it's going to start today because Jamar Chase is going to have 120 yards and probably 2, maybe 3 touchdowns. So I hope you have him in your starting lineup and didn't sit him because
Oh
he's
yeah,
been sucking all year.
oh yeah,
So you're on the Bengals, all right?
yeah. I believe so.
Yeah, it's not the hardest pick to go by. Yeah, 5-3 Bengals and surprising 4-4 Texans, and that is surprising. By the way, no weather problems in that game. It's supposed to be a clear day and 55 degrees in Cincinnati, so it should be a perfect day for football over in Cincinnati. So it should be. And
By the way,
I'm interested in seeing how they hang into that game. That should be really interesting.
by the way, as a former truck driver who's been all across the United States, Cincinnati is a
Yes.
beautiful city. Cincinnati is a beautiful city to drive through.
And I'm not criticizing. I'm asking, when was the last time were you in Cincinnati? Just off the top of my head.
2009.
2009. So you've been there recently. So that's
Yeah,
good. But
I
sometimes
mean, I drove from 2006 2009. I know I made my way up to Ohio quite a few times, and best way to go up there is straight through Cincinnati first because that's right there at the tip of that in Kentucky.
got it. By the way, Indianapolis still on top of New England 7-3. There's looks like 35 seconds left to go in the first half. So they're going to be moving on into the next one. So that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. We're going to go to the next game that is on tap. The New Orleans Saints. They're 5-4. They're going to be taking on the same 5-4 Minnesota Vikings, and Minnesota has kind of got the what do they call it? The booster shot in their quarterback with Dobbs. They pulled Dobbs away from Arizona. They get the booster shot after losing Kirk Cousins. Literally, first time he practiced with the offensive line was game day on the sideline. And listen, say whatever you want. And I've talked about this before, and I've talked about it with Cuervo because he's a Tennessee boy coming out of Tennessee, and he's bounced around. But I always thought, man, if this guy gets the opportunity to prove himself, it would be interesting. Then comes the opportunity with Arizona, and like, oh crap, he gets the opportunity, but it's with the frickin' Arizona Cardinals. Are you kidding me? Now he steps in the limelight. He steps in Minnesota, where right now Minnesota should have been a team that would be contending for the top spot in the NFC North. And that has not happened, obviously, at 5-4, especially when you're looking at the Lions doing what they're doing, having a complete chokehold, a wrestling term just for my guy over there, chokehold on the NFC North. So looking at this game, I have to admit, I took some time to take a look at this game, mainly because of the reemergence of maybe a quarterback that can handle the job, but more so, who's going to be back, when they're going to be back, are they going to be productive for Joshua Dobbs as far as Minnesota is concerned? But then you look at the other side and you see what's headed your way. You've got the New Orleans Saints, who have not impressed too many people this year. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Catch us 9 noon every Sunday. Looking at this game, big man, what do you think about this one?
It's a tough one, and I don't remember
It
who I picked.
is.
Huh?
It
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I don't remember who I picked exactly. I think I lean towards the Saints because I think it's been playing in New Orleans, right?
The game, hold on one second, is in Minnesota, actually.
Oh, okay. Then I probably picked Minnesota. See, I don't remember who I picked there, but I like the confidence boost that Dobbs gave him. Dobbs
Mm-hmm.
got run out. He got run out of Arizona because they couldn't block for him. And clearly I know how good he is. I saw him destroy the Dallas defense. So
You just won't let it go, will you?
that game's gonna come back and bite them in the ass more ways than one.
Oh, hey, off subject. I think you're 100% right. That might be the game. That might be the difference between them making it in the playoffs and not.
I do think that you know Minnesota's got a lot more issues than just the quarterback. I don't think Kirk Cousins was a problem there. I mean, I know he wasn't perfect, but then look out that window, find me a perfect quarterback. Hell, even Lamar Jackson, who you don't like very much because of his contract, he's right now MVP of the half year right now. So
I fully 100% agree with you.
So it is what it is, right? So look, Minnesota's got their quirks. I got a Viking on my ass now. It's nice, but anyway,
You got a what on your ass?
I got like 4 or 5 bikers right behind me here.
All right. Do you see my pictures with the bikers, the biker club?
No, I miss that.
I'll send it to you. It's pretty cool.
I'm driving, so I can't say. So look,
Yeah, I just want to say that.
You know what? This kind of reminds me of the Cooper Cup situation from Cooper Cup, the Cooper Rush thing from last year, right? What can Dallas do with a backup quarterback? And he did pretty well, considering what he had. So, I think Dobbs has got a good team around him. I think he can get really comfortable with this offense a lot sooner than we think. If they protect him, he'd be fine with it. That's the thing, you got to protect him, because if you sit there and let him get beat up to all the hell they did in Arizona, nothing good's going to happen with that. The Saints are not the Saints. They're not the Saints that we all remember from 10 years ago. So, we go, and I know Z is sitting at home, sitting there going, "No, they're the best team in the league." No, just hold back a little bit, So, I know you're 12, but just back off a little bit.
Pipe down a little bit.
It's just listen.
Well,
but anyway, look. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a dogfight, okay? It's going to be a real big dogfight. I think I got Minnesota picked in this one. I'm not sure, because I thought I had the Saints picked on. I thought they were playing at home. But in the hometown advantage is going to really help either team right now. So
absolutely, I think that is huge. I think that you take a look at all the intangibles, home field advantage against teams that are. Let's just be honest and call them what they are. They're average. Both these teams are average at best. Which one is average at best today will depend upon the quarterback play. Let's be honest. Justin Jefferson is questionable in this game when he's been considered out. So they're trying to get him back. Why? Because of the love affair already that they have with the Dobbs effect. Okay, and then you got on the other side, you got a football team in the Saints that have not been playing up to their potential, and it's huge. Now you mentioned Cooper Cup, okay? Cooper Rush. You brought up Cooper Rush, and Cooper Rush was exactly what he needed to be for the Dallas Cowboys. He needed to go in and win more football games than he lost. If I'm not mistaken, he was 6-3 as a starter, and he won the game where he came in. So he was like 7-3. So he kept the Cowboys alive last year, like a backup quarterback should be. So, like you said, what kind of quarterback are we going to get on both of these football teams, especially? There is still a portion of the fact that when you look at the quarterback position over for New Orleans, right now, Carr is supposed to be playing. He's supposed to start. But this guy, I'm telling you right now, for the last 3 to 4 weeks, have been getting beat up as not getting enough protection. And that's what scares me in this game as well, because you say whatever you want about Minnesota offensively, this team comes to play on the defensive side of the ball. And that might be a problem today for David Carr. Or is it David Carr? Well, they're brothers, but Carr.
That's Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, thank you very much. Derek Carr is going to be under the gun with that Minnesota defense.
Oh, most definitely. But you mentioned the two words that drive me crazy: the love affair. The love affair with their quarterback. Love affairs aren't meant to last. Okay, so
no, this is true.
So let's I'm not saying tap the brakes on it, but I'm saying let's ride this thing out until all of a sudden either he's the guy or he's not. Because once again, he's probably being brought in to be the replacement for Kirk Cousins down the road. I mean, he's got the potential to be that.
The contract situation right now with Kirk Cousins, he's on his last year. If Dobbs goes in there, plays very well, makes him to the playoffs, this kid could be the starter. And that's one of the things I was hoping for him in reality, not being stuck in Arizona where you know who's going to start as soon if he becomes healthy. Here, it's a different story. They're paying Kirk Cousins close to $30 million a year, and they bring in Dobbs. Believe me, they don't have to pay him $30 million. And if they get the best out of him, oh my God, what a bargain! And putting him in the position where he could be the guy for the near future. And when I'm talking near future, I'm talking about the next 2 or 3 years to see how he might be able to grow with this football team and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinsworth and guys like that make plays for him.
Yeah, he's got some star power around him, that's for sure. So, hey, good luck to him, man. I mean, like I said, I saw what he could do when he was really motivated to play. That was his first game as a pro against the Cowboys. And, honestly, you can expect big things out of a guy who I think is truly NFL ready. I think he was. Right. I think he just went to a team that themselves, not necessarily not NFL worthy, but were lacking a lot of the talent that you need to be an NFL quarterback. And I think a lot of it not having a solid running game, which they do have a solid running game, but they don't utilize it the way they should. And
I agree.
And they're probably not used to it because Kyler Murray would be the guy who get all the yards. The whole running quarterback argument that we all had, a few weeks ago. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I got Minnesota.
You got Minnesota. And that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. We're going to bring on the co-host of this program, fashionably late, beautiful looking, every. Oh no. Welcome. Oh, I got to add into the thing and then bring him on and hit this button right here. It is Cuervo. Hey, thank you for your service. Happy day lated, or a couple days lated on Veterans Day. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to what we do each and every week because of your help with that. I appreciate that. By the way, loved all the pictures. I sat for like 20 minutes and watched all those pictures from that party you went to. Lots of fun. Yeah, that's right. I have to admit I am a Cuervo stalker. I'm sorry.
No, but I need to be more careful of what I post, more what my wife posts.
Yeah, hey, your wife cracks me up. Sometimes you probably don't know how she kind of puts it to you each and every week. It's kind of funny. I like it.
I don't know. Maybe it's better that I don't know, right?
you might. Hey, that might be too.
Just let it go.
Good to see you. And by the way, you're coming in perfect. Whatever you did with your computer today, awesome, good stuff. Glad to have you in. We're talking to Minnesota and the Saints today. And this is one of those tough games, Cuervo, where you look at two teams that are where they're at, in the standings, and obviously where they're at as far as their records are concerned at 5-4. It's going to be a nice day in reality in Minnesota, so there's no weather issues. But you got a team with issues, and that's both teams with issues. Derek Carr's getting beat up each and every week. You never know when that guy's going to go out on a certain hit. Then you got Josh Dobbs coming from Arizona, getting the opportunity with a real football team. I am so by the way, I want you to know that's what I'm more happy about for Josh Dobbs than anything, is that he's starting for the Minnesota Vikings and not the Arizona Cardinals, a team that, that he has no chance whatsoever to become the starter. And in reality, in Minnesota, he does. Based upon the Kirk Cousins contract and everything else and the injury and stuff. So looking at this game, we'll start you off there. What's got your interest peak in Minnesota and the New Orleans Saints in Minnesota today?
Oh, first of all, good to see the Podfather back. I know we missed him last week. But
Bryce missed him. I mean, the love affair is unbelievable. That's why. And by the way, that's why I say love affair, because it'll come down to it. But anyway, go ahead, Cuervo.
Yeah, I think didn't Bryce shed a tear, Sonny?
I think he did. I think he did. He came in. He was visibly disappointed that the Podfather wasn't there, and he's been coming to my show for the last 6-7 years. He didn't. I see more emotion from him not having the Podfather than you not being here, Cuervo. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe we're doing our job, and we don't get the love as much. So that means we're doing something right. But,
maybe that's it.
No, yeah, Minnesota, New Orleans, man. I'm really happy for Josh Dobbs. I'm obviously want to see him do well, being a former Vol. But it's just so impressive, man. The way he he didn't even grasp the playbook. So I'm not even going to say he grasped the playbook so fast, because he didn't know half the name of his teammates.
Yep.
He literally just went in there, probably thumbed through a couple things. Okay, I think I could do this, and he went out there and made some plays. And that's sometimes that's what you got to do to win games. It's not about knowing every X and O. It's just having the instincts to play the position, and
that's what it was. It was instincts in that game. You're talking about a guy who first got with his offensive line out on the sideline of the first game. He didn't even get a practice with those guys, and the fact that he came in, did what he did. Yes, I'm showing him a lot of love, because I'm going to tell you right now, yes, there's a difference between a Josh Dobbs coming in and a guy that you haven't got in. And I know you hate this, Cuervo, but a guy who has no film. Well, here comes Josh Dobbs. Everybody's seen the film in Arizona, but it was Arizona. So really, are we getting the real Josh Dobbs, or are we getting from Arizona, or are we getting the real Josh Dobbs that can play on a football team with the opportunity?
Well, I mean, look, a quarterback, they are who they are, and what I mean by that is they're going to play the way that they're meant to play the position. But the difference is, I think, and I'm not saying Dobbs is system quarterback, but different systems fit different guys. Like you put Lamar Jackson, if you put Lamar Jackson in Pittsburgh, I don't know that he does as well as he does with the Baltimore Ravens, because they run a different style offense, and not to mention the fact that Matt Canada is the offensive coordinator. But it's just it's all about doing what works best for your quarterback. You can't fit a system into the quarterback. You got to fit your quarterback into your system. You got to get the right type of quarterback, right guy. And I think for Minnesota, that's why they decided to make the trade for Dobbs. They saw something in him that O'Connell and those guys felt like, yeah, you know what? I think that he could work. I think he could work in our system. So they went out and got him, didn't have to pay a lot to get him.
No.
And you saw the result. And so that really I'm just happy for the guy. I'm happy for just see him, the way he went out there and just did what he did his first game. So
the instinct of quarterback came into play in this game, okay? Because obviously not knowing the playbook, not knowing his players, the instinct of playing the position came into play when they took the field with Josh Dobbs, to do it. And there's something to be said about that. Yes, knowing the basic routes, knowing the basic plays of a basic plays of most NFL teams have, whether or not they'll have success. He had to make that happen more so than anybody else, because the quarterback, obviously being the most important position out on the football field, he had to do something in order to make that work. So yes, we're giving Josh Dobbs a lot of praise out there, but I will also say that when you do that, you got to make sure you don't go overboard on this young man, because this is the kind of game that can take last week's game and go, wow, what did we really see the real Josh Dobbs? No, we need to see the same Josh Dobbs this week that we saw last week. And I hope for his sake that works. And with a little bit more time to learning the playbook. I mean, of course, he still doesn't know it all. Okay. And he's probably not going to know the whole, playbook for the next couple of weeks. That being said, what he does best, how he does it, and calling the plays that makes him be a very good quarterback is what needs to happen in Minnesota today.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Sonny. I mean, just continue to do what fits well for him, and
So looking on the other side, Cuervo, with Derek Carr, I mean, this guy's getting beat the hell up week after week after week. I mean, my gosh, every time I think I see him, he's going to go out of the game, he seems to come back in, and he seems to, not that he's not playing great the whole time or anything, but he seems to take that step down in that game. And I think this guy is just literally not even one good hit, but just a hit away from being on the sidelines. And then what are they going to do in reality at the backup position? Well, you got a Hill that can step in for you. So you have a suitable backup in reality with Hill, but whether or not that they will go to Hill, because they got another guy, I forget his name, it's slipping my mind, but they got another guy that is a quote unquote quarterback more so than a quarterback tight end. So there's a lot in play when it comes to Derek Carr and his play, and if he's going to play for the Saints today, or how long he'll play for the Saints today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on what the game plan is for the Saints. How much are they going to use Taysom Hill at quarterback? That all depends on their game plan against this, Viking defense. That look, say what you want about Brian Flores, guys. The past is the past, right? We haven't heard anything about the lawsuit, so I'm not even going to go down that road. But this defense for the Vikings, it's night and day compared to last year.
Absolutely.
They went from being, I think it was 28th in the league last year, so I believe they're now top 12 in the matter of one season. Not even a whole season. It's like a half a season. You're halfway through the season. It's his first year as the DC, and the improvements have been amazing. And it's not like Minnesota went out and went on a shopping spree and got a bunch of defensive, free agents, and the roster looks different compared to last year. Oh, well, that's why the defense is better. No, same guys. It's the same guys. Danielle Hunter still there. Harrison Smith still there.
Yep.
And
these are the same guys that are 2 years. If you just think about this, go back, not last year, but the year before, when Minnesota's defense was not just good, they were dominating. So we're getting sort of a resurgent of that team 2 years ago on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. And that just goes to show, guys, that yes, the players make plays on the field. However, coaching is really what makes the difference. Putting guys in position.
Fully agree.
Getting the fundamentals down, things like that. New England just intercepted the ball. That's why I'm looking up. But it's still 7-3, so it's quite the barn burner. But yeah, I mean, it's that is an example of how coaching can make a difference.
Absolutely. But that being said, Cuervo, what were you looking at to make this pick, whatever team you picked today? What was the deciding factor that you said, I want this team, this is the reason why I'm picking them? What was that today?
So I like Minnesota to win this game. As much as I liked and inspiring it was to see Dobbs play the way he did on such short notice without any real knowledge of the playbook, without taking any snaps to the center. We talk about all that stuff. Reason I got Minnesota today, though, guys, is because of what I saw last week from the Saints against my guys, right?
Yes.
Listen.
By the way,
nice Thursday night win. They had to win that game in order,
yes,
for draft order and all that crap. But I'm really if Z if you're listening there, if you're listening, little guy, you got to be worried about your football team right now. Five turnovers, and you only win the game by 7 points. That to me is alarming. So defense is out there kicking ass, and the offense is just like, yeah, cool, and can't do anything with it. 5 turnovers, 24 points. I don't know. That to me, that's just not a good sign, guys. It's not a good sign.
And here's another thing. Think about this, Cuervo. I thought this when I saw the game and I was sitting there, and I didn't think about it, when we were, maybe talking. It was a Thursday night game, but I asked myself while I was watching it, if you lose to the Bears with a backup quarterback, what does that tell you about your football team? That and I know that's kind of a shot, but it's a realistic shot in reality to Cuervo. I mean, his team really, if that New Orleans Saints is good the team as they are, should not be losing to the Chicago Bears. What does that say about your team? Now they're going up against the Minnesota football team with a backup quarterback who's been in for 2 games in that system. And if they go in and lose that game, I mean, they should be putting back on the bag, right? And calling themselves the Aints. And that will come from head coach down to, as far as that is concerned, head coach. Then you got the quarterback situation. What's the future for the Saints for the next 4 or 5 years? Whether it's with a new coach, whether with the new quarterback, which I think God it has to. What are the Saints are going to do? So I'll throw that over to the Podfather.
What's your question again? You're all over the place. What?
That's this one. What are the Saints going to do? I mean, think about this. I mean, they lost to the Bears. They had no business. No offense, Cuervo. They had no business losing against the Bears.
The Saints won that game.
They should have won that football game. And not only that, won big. Now, if they go in and lose this game, what is that saying about the New Orleans Saints for the next 3 or 4 games, or for that matters, the future?
If they lose today, which I think they are going to lose, they need to look at the idea of, look, however good we thought we were going to be, we're not even that. And you need to really start to because you've already passed the free agency market. I mean the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot to look into, and I'm not saying tank the rest of the season. You got to play your what's on your schedule. But you're 5-4, right? You're hovering above 500. You're not bad by any chance. You're just not good. So
that's a good point. It's a good point.
So I mean, so if you're about average, which is what right now, the Cowboys say they're average right now because they lost 3 games. So you have to look at look, we're still in the hunt. We're just not where we need to be. Do we have the right horses in the stable right now to do this? I don't think they do. I think we all can look at Derek Carr and see what he is. But you can't just sit there and just say, "Well, the hell with the season, let's go get Andy Dalton." You can't do that,
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I fully agree.
It's gonna be, look, just you're not gonna win them all, so let's see how many we can win. Let's not tank this season because there might be a better draft choice out there for us, but that doesn't mean we're gonna hit.
I agree.
Because clearly our history does not show that we hit a lot. So, that if I was the Saints, I'd sit there and go, look, we are 0-0 right now with our record because that's pretty much damn near dead on. Being 5-4, kind of the same thing, So we're playing against a bad quarterback. We should rattle his cage. We should do everything we can. He doesn't know the system very well. Let's get in there. Let's disrupt him. But then at the same time, you got to avoid the turnovers. You got to avoid the mistakes.
Yep.
And that might be a lot on their plate to handle right now.
So Podfather's on Minnesota. I'm on Minnesota. Cuervo's on Minnesota. This one seemed to be easy for us, but just more in the fact that the speculation on what we might be able to see here in the next couple of weeks as far as the Saints, or for all that matters, next couple of years, what does that look like for the Saints? But on the other side, what does that look like for Minnesota with bringing in Josh Dobbs? I think he's the booster shot, man. In reality, after you lose Kirk Cousins, Cuervo, you get a booster shot of a guy who, first of all, let's just say this, hasn't been great and successful, but he sure is a booster. He is an energizer guy. This guy brings excitement to your football team, and believe me, I think that's what is pretty much needed in Minnesota. If you don't have a Kirk Cousins, I think they get. I'm about this close as saying he might be the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far after just one game, but look,
come on, can I just overdo it?
You can if you want to. I'm not going to overdo it, though. You can say whatever.
Okay, this is overreaction Sunday today. Come on,
You couldn't wait for overreaction Monday, huh? You had to do it right now, before the games even start.
And before the game starts.
But here's another thing too, guys. Here's another reason to pick Minnesota. I don't know how much of a distraction it's going to be, but I'm sure you guys heard about Michael Thomas getting arrested yesterday.
Oh, I was playing Santa all day yesterday. I did not hear this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he got arrested yesterday. He's facing misdemeanor charges of assault and criminal mischief or something like that it was called. So I don't know if he's even going to play, and if he does play, how much is it going to affect his play?
Good point.
Good point. Whatever he's got coming his way or something. I don't know, but just something to throw out there.
I did not know about that. Thank you for filling me in. And you got to do that, especially. I did Santa and I slept most of the day, and then I did editing on Santa. I haven't even heard about that. Thank you for the update. I would do. By the way, next week we'll have our things. Unfortunately, the Sexy Mustangs lost on Friday night. Great game, though. Great game. Guys, they scored between the two teams. They scored 90 points, so it was a good game. So yeah, lots of good stuff offensively, anyway. But that being said, yeah. So we're all on Minnesota. I think that's going to be a good game to watch. By the way, as far as that is concerned, if New Orleans comes to play, so that's the big difference in reality. So that being said, I'm going to go to the next game. I was going to go to Green Bay, Pittsburgh, but I'm going to hold on that in case we do get Bryce from Brooklyn in. So that being said, we're going to go to the Tennessee Titans taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tennessee's 3-5, Tampa Bay is 3-5. And let me tell you something. I've been waiting for this game to talk to say this one. Baker Mayfield is getting screwed over. Listen. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, he's definitely got his deficiencies, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing that game last week after what he did to get that lead back into the lead of that game, it's almost a miscarriage of justice, and it says a lot about everybody else around him in Tampa Bay using the excuse that it's Baker Mayfield. Well, they dropped the ball. Everybody else dropped the ball out there besides Baker Mayfield. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, and again, he has his deficiencies. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL, but I'm telling you, he's adequate enough for this team in this division to put themselves in a playoff run. And I'm telling you, it's not Baker. Now, granted, every once in a while it is, but overall, it's not Baker Mayfield. Everybody's got to get – okay, I got to say this. Everybody's got to get off of their hard-on about Baker sucking because he doesn't. So I'm putting it out that way. Cuervo, Baker Mayfield last week, I think, just got a bad deal handed to him. You know what he got, Cuervo? In the game of Texas Hold'em, he got a 2 and a 3 in the hole. It's unbelievable.
Damn. Okay. I guess that's one way to put it, right? You know what? That's the thing, Sonny. Baker's been a scapegoat a few times in his career.
Yes.
You know, when things fell apart in Cleveland, after they had their nice run and they beat the Steelers in the playoffs and all that, shipped them out, sent them
Shipped
to the
them
camp.
out.
Yeah, they traded him to Carolina. So then he gets to Carolina. They're not doing too hot. Yeah, now we're gonna trade you to the Rams. Okay, so they traded him to the Rams. He did the same thing that Dobbs did last week. I think he was with the
Yep.
team for like 4 days, goes on a Thursday night game and wins. And when he had showed up to the team, 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, something like
Yep.
that, and he wins a football game. So with the Rams are like, okay, hey, thanks for everything, but we're gonna let you go be a free agent.
That's what it was. Thanks for everything.
And so, yeah, right. He was just like, hey, thank you for your service, right? And then he was gone. So now Tampa Bay's got him, and it's like, when are we gonna stop making Baker Mayfield the scapegoat? Because
More so than putting something around him where he can be successful, which, by the way, he had in Cleveland before they shipped him out of there.
Right. And so, Cleveland's still not playing well, but Baker's been gone for 2 years now. So
2 years now. Mm-hmm.
what gives there? I wish Obi was able to get on, but his internet issue. But I would be willing to say that he probably thinks that Stefanski needs to be gone. If I was a betting man, I'm sure Obi is like, yeah, Stefanski needs to just go away.
Is he the general manager too? I don't know. I know he's the coach.
That's the head coach.
I know he's the head coach, but does he have general manager duties too, or no?
I mean, I'm sure he influences what the GM does,
but not the general manager.
No, he's there. There is no. Well, actually, Belichick's a head coach / GM, isn't he?
Yes,
but
he
he's
is.
the only one. He's the only one. So, but yeah, going back to Baker, I mean, I just, for him to just continue to just carry on and move forward with his career, that says a lot about him. And I have a lot of respect for Baker for just, instead of being mad at the world because he's been a scapegoat a few times for situations, he just goes out there and he plays ball. And that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So good on him.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Podfather, I mean, when you're looking at the game as far as this week is concerned, they get the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tampa Bay is at home, so that's a nice thing for them. There's not going to be any weather issues over there in this one. Oh, mark that, light rain, if you want to call that a weather issue.
If you're in
light
Florida,
rain.
If you're in Florida, you got light rain all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So, and never mind, Tennessee's not afraid that if it got sloppy, they could run the football. But looking at this game, what are you looking at Tampa Bay and Tennessee?
Well, y'all touched on Baker Mayfield. Here's the thing: he's a winner. Bottom line, he's a winner. Now,
I agree.
Has he been in some shit situations? Sure. So you can't win them all, but he is a winner and he knows how to win. I just think, once again, it takes more than just a quarterback. When Tom Brady was winning Super Bowls, it was a lot more than just him. He had the talent around him, but it was a lot more than just him. So I think the fact that Baker Mayfield goes to a team that Brady had, and even Brady looked at the deficiencies of his team and says, "I'm out of here." So clearly, I think he's just not getting the benefit of the doubt for being the player that he is, and plus being down here in Texas, there's a little bit of that bias because he's no U guy, and people want to get all pissy with him. But not me. I've always liked the guy. So as far as this game's concerned, it's a pick 'em, but home field's going to have a lot to do with it, I believe.
I agree.
Tennessee's a tough team. They're not a great team. They're a tough team.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also a team where if they fall behind, good luck trying to get back. So I think Tampa takes it.
You say that. Say the last part again.
I think Tampa takes it.
Okay, got you have Tampa now. I'm looking at this one, Cuervo. We're seeing Will Levis coming out of really nowhere in reality.
But
Granted,
he looked good though. He looked really
no,
good though,
that
didn't he?
oh no, that's what I'm saying. He came out of nowhere and played really good football. Now you got a different mindset in Tennessee. Okay, you got a Will Levis. And he's playing well. If Derrick Henry, if he could get back to the Derrick Henry of 2 years ago, in one game, this might be the game for it to happen in reality, because if you look at some of the numbers on the defensive side of the ball for Tampa Bay against the run, so they might have an opportunity somewhere here in this game to have some success on the ground, which in turn, in reality, flips the switch, right, Cuervo? You're usually having the run to set up the pass, and it's going to be completely different in reality. They're going to flip the switch on this, run a little Derrick Henry, and then take what the defense gives them, which was what every rookie quarterback and second-year quarterback needs to do until they can take advantage to make their own shots. And that's where young quarterbacks get in their own head and not listening to everybody. Take what is given to you instead of make something happen. In reality, Will Levis, right, last week, that's all he did that whole game was take advantage of what was put in front of him. That said, Cuervo, looking at this game, what are you seeing and who do you got for it?
Yeah, what I see is just Levis started out hot, and I think the Steelers really cooled him down a lot. Now
Yes.
it's going to face the Tampa defense that, they don't always look great, but I think today is a day that they will probably play well. They can stop the run, and I just my only concern for Tampa is what did that loss last week against Houston do to them?
That's it.
Was that something where it kind of deflated them a little because they're like, man, we should have won that game and we let it slip away, and so do they let that define them this week, or do they bounce back? That's and that goes back to what we said about Baker. He's a guy that he doesn't let the hard times get to him, and he just moves forward and he plays ball. So with that being said, I think Tampa bounces back today, guys. I like the Bucs.
I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and take the other side. I'm going to go Tennessee. And I'm going to go Tennessee because this is a record that's been played before. Okay? And I'm talking about Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. When teams start doubting him, when teams give up on him, which, God, I that's all I'm seeing in reality in Tampa Bay. They're not getting behind the guy. They're not supporting the guy. And last week, it might have been the camel that breaks the straw that breaks the camel's back in reality. As far as whether or not they're going to be consistent from week in and week out, well, we haven't seen it all year long. They haven't played for this guy all year long. They should be better than 3-5. They're not 3. They're not 5-3. They're 3-5, which tells me a lot about the football team. Last week's loss was a bad. Let me just say, it was a bad loss last week. And it's not because of what the scoreboard was about. It was about morale of the football team. Now, whether or not Baker has enough to pull those guys back to him, I don't think he does, because of history, just the short history we're already seeing in Tampa Bay with him being the starting quarterback. They don't support the guy. They don't bring out the best in him, and they're not helping him. And I think, and I hate this, I want the pick. I think Tennessee is going to probably solve the problem of Baker Mayfield as the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being done. And I think this game will define it. And not only that, they'll do it at home, in Tampa Bay, and embarrass them there at their home field. And I think that and it might be the end of the Baker Mayfield era. They're already trying to talk about that this week. I mean, I don't know if you've heard, but the little bits of sports talk I've been, they're not trying to support Baker Mayfield. They're trying to replace him. And it's sad. So it's really interesting. There was one good article about what he was talking about with the team and everything else. That feel good story I don't think will cover for the whole team. I think there's a problem also with the coaching staff. Say whatever you want about it. The coaching staff is not being able to sell what they have to the players to where they're coming around. And I think there's a lot of inner coaching player conflicts going on that we're not hearing about. That's just a gut feeling. I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to take Tennessee because we might see a resurgence of Derrick Henry, and then with the combination of Will Levis just finding the right players to go out there, and I'm going to roll with that. We'll see what happens on that. God, I hope I'm right. It's one of those things where I got now. Cuervo, this is the game I couldn't wait to talk to you about. My Jacksonville Jaguars are going up against the San Francisco 49ers. This is the game I wanted to talk about, not because it was Jacksonville, but I think the fact that I'm ready to say it. I'm afraid that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a mirage. I know what their record is, right? I know what their record is, right? I mean, they're 6-2 for God's sake. San Francisco's 5-3, and they're not playing good, right, Cuervo? The last 4 games they just kind of sucked. And I think what's going to happen is that. Yeah, by the way, just in case you didn't know, as far as the game is concerned, they're in Jacksonville, and I think they give up the ghost in Jackson. And I'll tell you the reason why, but I'm not on my Jacksonville Jaguars today. So I'm going to ask the Podfather to tell me the reason why he's on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Am I on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I don't know. All right, so what do you see in this game, I guess is the best way to say it.
I'll be honest with you. Earlier in the week, I picked San Francisco, but I might change that pick.
Okay.
Because
tell me why.
I think. Look, the 49ers destroyed the Cowboys. We all know what happened there.
Right.
They lost 3 straight after that.
Okay.
How does things go so far back that they lose 3 in a row to teams that, like Minnesota, was one of them. I can't think of the other 2 that beat them, but I mean, they've shown like the idea that we can't rebound after a loss. We're having issues with that, and because let's face it, their first loss was right after the Cowboys. They just continue to lose after that. Now they had a bye week, so maybe they can figure some stuff out. That might be their one saving grace they got, the fact that they got to take a break from all the losing because they've had 3 in a row, and it's so hard to get back on the winning horse. Even if you're going to play in Jacksonville, which they're what 6-2, you said?
They're 6-2 and off the bye as well.
Yeah, so they're that. I mean, both teams are well rested. Jacksonville might walk in with a little more swagger than the Niners. And it's going to be played in Florida, so clearly the time disadvantage for along with those having to fall back a week ago, it's got to really fuck them up. So it's fucked us all up really. So
it does.
So look, I think. I think that the safe pick was the Niners because they could rebound, but they haven't. That's the problem. So I might make that change. To Jacksonville.
Okay. This is a guy who said that he did not trust Trevor Lawrence as the quarterback not more than 2 weeks ago. That's right, on this show.
I didn't say anything about Trevor Lawrence on this thing.
You said you were not buying Trevor Lawrence Almost word for word. You are not buying Trevor Lawrence as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
But I'm not buying Brock Purdy. I've been saying that all season long until like a few weeks ago. And then
I'm actually buying him more than Trevor Lawrence, but okay.
I don't know about that now because he's been pretty irrelevant. He's lived to his name.
Yeah, all right. And so Cuervo, this one's a tough one. This was a tough game to pick, and I already spread the news on who I think. I'll tell you the reasons why in a moment. But when you're looking at this game, what are you looking at as far as Jacksonville's chances against the 49ers? By the way, I'm on record. I do want the Jaguars to win, just so that you know.
You want the Jaguars to win, but you're not picking the Jaguars.
No, I'm not.
I get it. I've done that before.
I was going to say, you're a Bear fan. You're for the last couple of years, you've been kind of used to it. Now that was a shot. I'm sorry. That one was just too easy.
He just had to. Had to take that chance. Take that opportunity. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
This one's tough because, the Niners and the Jaguars both coming up a bye week. The thing is, both teams have been going in different directions lately. Jacksonville's picking it up. San Francisco's been slumping.
Mm-hmm.
Now the game's in Jacksonville. But there is a little buzz going around in San Francisco. It's gonna be first game for Chase Young after that trade happened. So
yes, that was a big pick. I like it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how long he lasts on the field. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe that the Niners have, coming off the bye week, they're re-energized. They made some corrections to what they've been doing on both sides of the ball, really, because both sides have been struggling.
Right.
The defense has been giving up a lot. Offense can't really move the ball too well. The only thing that really got going for him is Christian McCaffrey still got that touchdown streak going. But other than that, it's hard to say if the Niners have turned things around and they're ready to go after their bye. So really just based off of that, until I see them win a game, I'm not going to pick them. So I'm going with your Jaguars, Sonny.
So you're going to hang and listen, you can actually talk about the Jaguars being somewhat respectful, okay? So I'm going to put that out there. But I'm going to tell you there's two reasons why I'm not on the Jaguars today, okay? Two reasons that are the reason why they will lose this football game. Three. Number one, their ego at home. They think they're a good football team. Now they're at home, and this is where we've seen just in the past when they've shown a little bit of comfortable being a good football team, they lay the egg at home.
How dare they think they're a good football team?
How dare they?
They're 6-2. How dare they?
Listen, now,
this guy right here, I tell you.
Now, hey, watch the chair shot. It's coming. Anyway. That said, when you look at Brock Purdy, okay, even with the interceptions that have been coming, which, by the way, they've been there, okay? Brock Purdy's been throwing them. He's really, outside of that, he's really highly efficient throwing the football. Big chunks. He gets yards in chunks. And that's huge, especially going up against a football team that has a problem of what, Cuervo? One of the most important things that NFL football teams on the defensive side have to do week in and week out, which is get off of the damn field. The Jaguars are horrible. Let me just say that again. They are horrible on third down. They're one of the league's worst. I think they're like 30th on third down. Okay? And they're going up against the San Francisco 49ers, who might even get Deebo Samuel back. And not only that, exactly, and likely Trent Williams too. So, there's some things going on there, and you can't forget about third down. Third down, as far as the defensive side of the ball is concerned, the 49ers have that defense that can stop the Jaguars on third down. And it's going to be the story of this game. And as much as I want the Jaguars to win, and I do want my Jags to win, I want them to be 7-2 at the end of this game. But the problem is that they're just so bad at it. And then think about this: the Jaguars, they don't have any pressure on Purdy. Their defense is good, but they're not going to be able to get to Brock Purdy today. So those three, being at home, they're horrible on third down, and I don't think they're going to get to Brock Purdy today. Is the reason why I don't think the Jaguars are going to go out and get the victory. I want them to win. They are at home. But I think the third down is the biggest one. The second is their ego. They think they're a good football team right now, and they are, but is it too much overconfidence? And these are the 49ers. They got one of the best defenses in the game. You can say whatever you want about Brock Purdy, but that defense is coming for Trevor Lawrence, all day today. So I'm going to hope for the Jaguars to win, but my smart pick for me, I'm going to go 49ers. Go ahead there, Podfather. I know you got something to say.
Clearly, Sonny hates his team, doesn't he?
I know. I'm a realist.
The fact that they're overconfident, being 6-2, one of the top teams in the league right now, and yet they're overconfident. Okay, it's.
I've never seen
they're only
anybody
the top
hate
team in the league when
their
it comes
favorite
to
team more than Sonny.
I know, right?
That's only record. Hey, Cuervo, would you not argue with me? One of the biggest stats and one of the biggest things that you've got to do is be successful on third down in the NFL.
Well, yeah, of course. I think you got to, on both sides. Offensively, you got to convert. Defensively, you got to stop them. So,
But time out. Isn't being 6-2 a bigger stat than that, though? That means they've won 6 games.
Oh, believe me, the Dallas Cowboys have won many games, being the mirage that they are. Not being good on certain portions of their game.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, he feels like his team's a fluke.
No, it's not that it's a fluke. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And not only that, and I forgot to do this. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen here. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So the Jaguars, they have the 49ers today. I think they're going to lose that game. They got the Titans next week. They should win. They got the Texans after that. They should win. Now, guess what? They're going to go against 3 teams in the NFL that are some of the best. They got the Bengals. They got the Browns. Yes, I say one of the best because that defense on the Browns, they don't let you get third downs either. And the Baltimore Ravens. There are 3 games that are coming this way, and then it might demoralize them, and they might lose against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Titans in the final game of the season. So I'm just putting it out there. There's 4 losses for this football team that I see right now to the end of this season. Will that be enough? Yes, because they're in the AFC South. But that overconfidence of not playing, and this is where I worry about the Jaguars, not playing good against good football teams, and that worries me. Now, granted, they are 1-1 against good football teams this year. When you looked at the schedule, I mean, really good teams. Buffalo and what was the other team? Kansas City. So they're 1-1 against really good football teams.
But I got a question: is San Francisco really a good team?
Yes. And you notice how I'm not even buying the nonsense that everybody's trying to report on them being not a good football team right now.
Well, I mean, they lost 3 straight. There's a reason why you lose.
Yeah, so how many teams in the NFL have lost 3 in a row that are good football teams? That happens.
The thing is that they're.
Go ahead, Cuervo.
I think maybe Carolina's lost like 6 in a row. But aside from that,
Well, they're not good.
There's good teams. There's good teams that they just, they go on a bad streak. They don't play well for a little while. San Francisco, a good football team. They're just not playing well right now. And I think something that Sonny said makes me possibly want to change to the 49ers.
Don't do it, Cuervo. You're gonna blame me. Oh, anyway, I'll probably be right. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm gonna blame you either way, but
what I said.
But no, the fact that they got Deebo Samuel back, yes. I think their offense is going to look a lot better than it has without him. Obviously, so,
of course.
So I think I might.
You'll reserve the right to change your pick 5 minutes before the early game.
Right. Well, I got to.
As of right now, you're on the Jaguars.
As of right now, but I'm like quickly going on the other side. Just thinking about
Deebo. Now, and I said likely to come back. Let me give you his actual status for the game as far as the injury is concerned so that you know Deebo Samuels is probable. He's going to play today, Cuervo. So, yeah, he's going to play. So something to think about. And again, guys, I'm a realist on my Jaguars. Yes, I'm tough on them. It's called tough love. I want them to be a good football team. I'm glad they win, but now it comes the beef of the schedule. Why is that, Cuervo? It's November, it's December. That's where teams make, if you're good football teams, you win those tough games. Hey, you go up, beat Tennessee, who cares? If you go and beat Houston, who cares, right? It's when you play the good football teams. This is that. And I mentioned Cleveland, for them possibly losing that game because that defense from Cleveland, I think, is going to stop Jacksonville. I mean, they are just that good. Now, offensively, they might have a problem. They might get lucky to get the win, but defensively, they're going to have a hard time winning that football game against the Browns, looking at that defense. And Lord forbid that the Browns figure out how to score some points. That might be a problem for them. But those 4 games, those are going to be the pivotal games this year that will make or break the Jacksonville Jaguars season and whether or not they'll go in the playoffs really being a good football team or the mirage that they have actually planted in everybody's head to this point. I think it's a mirage right now, and this is what I say. In those 4 games, if they go 3-1, that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a good football team. If they go 2-2, it becomes questionable because when you get to the playoffs, all those teams are good. So you got to kind of watch it on that there. So I am going. Go ahead, Cuervo's. You could just see it's eating them. Go ahead, Cuervo.
Trey, they could go 4-0 in those games. Sonny's gonna be like, they're a fraud.
No. Okay, are you ready for this?
Don't believe the hype.
If they go 3-1,
they're overrated.
If they go 3-1, and you come, let's see, today is November 12th. If they go 3-1 in those games, they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I'm just saying.
You're just saying that, Sonny. You don't believe that for 1 second.
I don't. You're right. If they go 3-1, I don't think they're going to go 3-1. In fact, in that 4-game run, the best they'll go is 2-2, if not 1-3. And that's where I look at the Jaguars as being a mirage of being a good football team right now. And that's all. And that's, it is what it is. I'm picking against my pick today.
I wish I had a way to contact Tom McManus because I think he needs to knock some sense into your head. Your team's a good.
Well, I got news for you. I watch every show of the Tom McManus' show. He does 2 a week, Tuesday and Friday. Okay, right. He does not agree with Sonny Clark. He does not agree with me. I bet so. Surprise.
Hey, I'm hoping that Jacksonville runs the table, goes all the way to the AFC Championship game, and
I hope they do too.
Don't buy the hype. Don't buy the hype.
They're gonna lose.
No, I told you if they go 4-0 or 3-1, they'll be in the AFC Championship game. If they go 2-2, they'll be just above average. They'll be just above average. They'll be 80%, and 80% is not good enough in the NFL. That's all I'm saying. It's called being realistic. It's one thing to be a homer. It's another to be a realistic. And I've always tried and always am realistic when it comes to the Jaguars. By the way, just to let you know, I've been right more than I've been wrong about the Jaguars for the last 10 years. Okay? Just so that you know. Right, Cuervo? Have I been right about the Jaguars for the last 10 years or not? Yeah,
Sometimes.
he don't want to admit it. A good 90% because 80% isn't good enough for him.
Listen. This is the narcissist attitude that Sonny has. He had it with wrestling. He has it here with football because he's a big ballhard. Because he'd rather be wrong. He'd rather be right than wrong more than anything else.
Exactly. I don't want to be wrong in my pick. There's no question.
See, for me, I like to be proven wrong. That's more than anything. I like to be proven wrong because, for instance, I thought Dallas could probably because given the fact that Dak Prescott owns the Eagles to an extent, I thought that they'd probably go into Philadelphia and pull off a win. Didn't happen. I was wrong. My bad. Whereas
you're kind of used to it. You've been doing it for 20 years.
Lauren, that's sir. I mean, come on.
Actually, more than that.
Yeah, I said that. Thanks for listening.
Oh Lord, I love it. I guys. I'm telling you right now. I was dead tired when I started the show. I was gonna nap probably, and after the first games to halftime and the second. I am so amped for these games this week. It's obvious. All right, so I'm going 49ers. You two are on the Jaguars, right?
As of right
Officially. As of right now. And Cuervo reserves the right to change his pick 5 minutes before the game.
I think our pick is still the 49ers on our pick'em thing, but I might change that.
Well, if you can get to the computer and get it done if that's what you want to do. And now, I want to tell you right now, if you change to the 49ers, I talked you into it. So no excuses. Don't be coming back to Sonny. I should have never listened to Sonny.
Listen, I was already on the 49ers before we had this conversation. I'm just saying. It's just that, I mean, as the week progressed, I kept thinking, well, Jacksonville they are 6-2, and, then the Niners have a 3-game losing streak, and both teams have a bye, so we'll see. I'm up in the air, but it's truly a pick 'em for me. So,
and also don't forget Chase Young will have a spotting of him today too on the 49ers as they pull that off, which I think it makes them even better. But like Cuervo said, that guy's got to stay healthy in order for it to be really good for him. So,
speaking of staying healthy, isn't it time for Christian McCaffrey to get injury?
As far as on the injury report,
yeah, isn't he due for like a leg injury?
Well, he has been healthy for the last 2 years. Man, I love it. See, this is the reason why this show is great, because we never forget. Because you have to ask yourself about Christian McCaffrey, especially with his performance for the last 2 years. Was he really injured or was he just hurt? And that you got to ask that question. Basically. Now, granted, the Panthers have been disgusting. They're hard watch, and it was hard for him to be on that football team, being as good as he is. He did the right thing by getting the hell out of there because it wasn't going to get any better, and he freaking knew it too. So he was just that smart. They had a chance with Cam Newton, and then he got hurt. So that was a big thing. And then after they lost Cam, he was like, well, I'm still hurt. And I can't blame him. He's still going to make the money. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? He is here. He is here. Oh, I love it. I'm so happy. I didn't know if we were going to get him. And I got him right in time. And I haven't covered this game. Why? Where's my frames at? Where's my frames? Oh, right there. All right. I can dig it. It is the one, the only. Bryce from Brooklyn. Good to see you, my friend.
Always good to see everybody. How's everyone doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Up,
Now,
Bryce?
before these guys jump.
How you doing?
What did I say it again?
I said, you tell us, how are you doing?
Listen, I'm
You know how
doing
we're
good,
doing.
man. I'm ready to watch some football.
Yeah.
Football Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
All right, then the big question, we're on the Jaguars and 49ers, okay? All right, you came in perfect. Okay, but you missed what I said, so I'm going to say it. There are 4 games that the Jacksonville Jaguars have got to prove it to me that they are really a good football team. 4 games.
Here we go again, right?
Left.
Here we go again.
4 games. All right, so those 4 games are the Bengals. That's in 2 weeks. That's it. Well, after this week. Today's game, they got to prove it to me on the 49ers. They got to prove it to me on the Bengals. They got to prove it to me on the Browns. Yes, I said the Browns. And they got to prove it to me on the Ravens. These are the games. The other games, no one cares about Tennessee. No one cares about Houston. Those aren't good football teams. They got to play good against good football. Yeah, I said it. Not good football. I said Houston's not good. And if you want to buy into the BS that the media wants to feed to you, that Houston and or Tennessee is good, although I picked Tennessee today, you're living in a dream, okay? Jacksonville should beat those teams, okay? They're good enough to beat those teams. Are they good enough to beat the 49ers today? Are they good enough to beat the Ravens? Are they good enough to beat the Browns defense? Hey. And if you're not questioning that, you're not looking at it. So just so that you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of the worst teams in the league on third down. And what will kill your game and or Steven is being bad on third down. And you know that specifically, Bryce, when your team, when the Steelers are not playing well and getting first downs, they lose football games. And it's just what it is. So in order for me to state that the Jacksonville, and now this is what I also said, if they go 3-1 or 4-4, they will be in the AFC Championship game. All right, Sonny Clark, the ever optimist that I am, they'll be in the AFC Championship game. If they go 2-2 or 1-3, which I think they go 2-2, if they're really bad, they'll go 1-3. They're a mirage. So that being said, the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the 49ers at home where their ego's inflated because they think they're good and they're at home. They're going to blow it. You just watch. Their third down is going to be horrible. They're going to blow it. I say the 49ers, these two are reserving. Say, I proved it enough. I've made enough good points here that both of them are rethinking their pick. So that being said, Bryce, bring them back to their reality so they can go back on the Jaguars.
I mean, I feel like I needed to strap in for that. I mean, that just took us that took us all around the world.
Oh, I love it.
Cuervo,
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that
By the
was
way, how you doing, Bryce? Good to see you.
good to see everyone. That was like a therapy session. My goodness.
Sonny needs the therapy.
Jaguars in 5 minutes is what it was. There you go.
First and foremost, you're awfully confident talking about the Houston Texans for a guy that had your team smacked around the first time they played you.
I'm not questioning that. They also did it to the Cowboys too. They overlooked them and they didn't come to play. That's exactly what happened. And they overestimated themselves. I'm listening. I will be right back though. So I am listening.
I mean, look, I understand why you put the Browns in there because of your defense. You better put the Houston Texans in there because I think in those 4 teams, they want a piece of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they already beat that team. So now, granted, I think that game was in Houston, so the rematch will be in Jacksonville. Yeah, the rematch will be in Jacksonville, but I think the Jacksonville Jaguars might need to focus on their division and making sure that they can beat the Houston Texans, because you don't want to get swept by that team. That's not gonna help you in the standing. Look, this game to me is like almost a pick'em game. You know, the 49ers have not played particularly well. Obviously, when you have Brock Purdy in the system he plays in, I think that elevates him. But when you take away some of the weapons, when he doesn't have Debo, when he can't anticipate where people are, and he has to go out and kind of be the main playmaker, that becomes an issue. I think they need to lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey. This is going to be a tough one because Jacksonville has enough firepower to give you problems. And, you know, Travis Etienne is a guy that if you feed him the football, you know, he can really, really make problems for your defense. And then on the other side, Jacksonville's tough to run on. They've made themselves a sound defense in terms of the run game, which means that if you're going to feed Christian McCaffrey, you know, you risk having a lot of plays that make it a slugfest. Because I don't know if he's going to be able to break off the 50-yard run. So I see a lot of kind of strength on strength here, and you know I think it's going to be a really good game. This is almost a pick 'em.
So pick 'em. So who are you picking in the pick 'em game?
Made their picks. I don't know if everyone made their picks. I actually, even though it's in Jacksonville, I'm going to go with the 49ers today. I think they do just enough. To get out of there with a win. Jacksonville, one of the things that really surprised was the way against Pittsburgh, you know, a defense that can make plays, they turn the football over. I think Jacksonville turned the football over twice today, and that becomes their undoing.
Third down conversions for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 25th in the NFL.
But you better refocus and think about those Houston Texans because they're not going to just lay down in Jacksonville when they come to play you.
Okay, the only reason why I'm not necessarily, I'm just saying in the grand scheme of the things, those other four games are probably more of a challenge for the Jacksonville Jaguars than now. I disrespected the Texans. They kind of deserve it. They kind of stink. You know, but you know, it is what it is. You know, but I did disrespect them. I just wasn't thinking them in the equation because when you think about it in how great the Jaguars are supposedly, they should be able to beat that football team. And the other four were the ones that probably had my main focus more so than the other ones. Because let's be honest, we all know they're going to win the division. I'm not necessarily worried about that. It's games that are good teams are the ones you're going to meet in the playoffs. You're not going to meet Houston in the playoffs. Okay. You're not going to, probably not see Tennessee in there either. So, you know, but I was looking at more competition games. So that's the reason why I went that way. However, I still think they beat the Texans because they are pissed about the egg that they laid in Houston. They had no business losing that football game in the first place. So that was what that was.
Listen, the road to the playoffs first starts with you winning your division. And I'm not saying they're going to lose the division because they're clearly the top team, but the Houston Texans are going to definitely pose problems. Particularly because of the win they got before.
I can, and that makes perfect sense as well. Going to that, so all right. So we got two now. That being said, before I go to the next game, Cuervo, did Bryce give you enough reasons to pick the Jaguars today, or are you still going to be on the fence until 5 minutes before the game?
Look, I'm picking the Niners because I'm happy to see Bryce, man, and that's the smile we always talk about. No, look,
it had nothing to do with me and my diatribe. I mean, my points.
He's feeling good. He's feeling good, Sonny, because he got the Thursday night win, so he gets to sit back and just watch all the rest of the game.
Which, by the way, you missed your pick and you lost you're one up on me. You could have been two up on me because I'm not dumb enough to think that you would not have taken the Bears. I think the Bears were your pick, right? I even know that, but I'm still not going to give you a shot. But all right, so now that being said, Trey Mack, the big Bryce lover that you are, did Bryce convince you enough to go 49ers in this one, or are you gonna be on so what's your pick now?
Here comes
Well,
the chair shot. Here comes the chair
No,
shot.
here's the thing. I know Sonny doesn't listen to his own show because I said originally I had already picked the 49ers. I was being convinced about the Jaguars. Will I make that change? I'm not sure yet. That's the thing. Now I still have the
Okay.
Niners picked in the pick'em thing, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, once again, it's based on. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm 50-50 with it right now.
He's torn. He's torn on whether or not he wants to break up with the 49ers or fall in love with them. He just can't make that. But there's that side chick that are the Jaguars that he's looking at right now. I get it.
Well,
I understand.
He's torn between. Is he gonna be?
Look, she's from Florida. She got some long legs. It's kind of nice. I mean, I don't buy everything she's doing. So,
So,
He's torn.
all right.
He's very feisty, like a Jaguar.
Being the hero and being the heel. He's torn. Should he be the hero in this moment?
I'm never torn about that, sir. I already have one direction on that one.
Yeah. Anyway, now to the game I've been waiting for outside of mine is this guy's game right here. The Steelers are taking on the Green Bay Packers. That's it. The Green Bay Packers. 3-5 Green Bay Packers, and the other side 5-3. By the way, and you can correct me if the AFC North leading Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
No, second place. The Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore is in front of them. Got it. All right. Hey, that's still respectful because no one thought that Steelers would be there, by the way. Everybody will admit it, even you. You didn't even think they'd beat this. Finding ways to win football games, even with Matt Canada. Okay. All right. This is just too easy sometimes. But that being said, looking at this game, is this one of those games where you worry that the Packers, the way they've been winning football games, gutting it out, are going to just overlook this football team, Green Bay, coming?
Yeah, it's interesting. First of all, I already know which way Cuervo is going with this game. He's going to be on the outside.
He's picking the Steelers because
I don't care if the Packers had Vince Lombardi coaching, Brett Favre back at quarterback, had a whole Sterling Sharp, he would still pick my Steelers because he can never bring himself to pick the Packers in anything. So there's that. But, this is the type of game over the years, unfortunately, a game that Pittsburgh should win on paper, but they tend to drop. They do those things. If you look at the Packers, they're kind of built like we are in a sense. They got two running backs. They want to freely feed Dillon and Jones. Those guys are two top-level NFL running backs. You got a young quarterback trying to find his way, who's done some good things but needs that running game. So they want to lean on that running game. You got a defense that, when they rush forward and get after you with four, can be very effective. That wants to stop the run. They got a corner in Jair Alexander. That's a gamer. He comes to play. They want to win in similar ways that we want to win. They want to run the football, then run it some more, then get Musgrave involved, see if they can get Watson involved. Musgrave is a very good tight end. So, this is going to be an interesting matchup of styles of teams that want to play a certain way and win a certain way. I also think special teams in this game, that hidden yardage that we don't talk about a lot, is going to be really important because you don't want to give Green Bay short fields and you don't want to give Pittsburgh short fields because that helps get their offense going because they need that, and it allows the team to get that wants to get their running game going, allows the team that wants to do that to get going. So, and they want to stop our run, we want to stop their run. So I think overall they match up in an interesting way, and they're pretty similar in how they want to attack other teams.
Yep. Oh, we lost Sonny, or not back at his seat yet. So.
Oh, I mean, he disappeared. So
Yep, there he is.
And now there he is.
I had to get some coffee, man. I had to keep up this energy, man. I got I got
No. You can put
hours
energy
of
down a
watching
little bit.
NFL football today.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with that in terms of how the teams match up.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, even after all this, I'm not really sure what to think also of Matt LaFleur. It's one thing when you have Aaron Rodgers and they had some late season collapses that were really like, I think Matt LaFleur is a good offensive mind. I have questions about him as a head coach.
I do too.
And his ability to
Mhm.
really galvanize and lead men.
I mean, his resume, he used to be a head coach of an indoor football team. That alone should have probably disqualified him for the job in the first place. If it was anybody but Aaron Rodgers, he wouldn't have got that job. I'm just saying.
Throwing shots.
But
So I think it's going to be a close game. Like all of Pittsburgh is going to think they're going to play another close game because of the way that the teams play. I also think, Matt Canada's actually been better the past couple of weeks, but it's still not great. They need to stop. They need to move away from this ultra conservative mindset and just don't turn it over. You got to unleash.
I don't like their play calling on third down. It's horrible. It's horrible on third down.
You let Deontay Johnson run routes because he's a great route runner. I think you got to take the handcuffs off George Pickens. Let him run some of these rip routes, these choice routes. You got to let him not just be a deep back shoulder fade guy. The guy, when he runs a slant route, he's shaking guys off their shoes. You got to trust these guys can get open and run a bigger route tree to open up the passing game. This ultra conservative viewpoint from Tomlin in Canada is just bogging the team down. They have to be willing to open it up. I know you put the football at risk when you do that a little bit, but the reward, I think, is worth it for this type of offense.
By the way, who are they playing today, Bryce? What's the name of the team they're playing today?
The Green Bay Packers.
Oh, no. No. When it comes to the three keys of winning the football, who are they playing? The three.
Green Bay Slackers.
Green Bay Slackers. I love it.
The Green Bay Slackers?
The Green Bay Slackers.
You're way too nice to that team. You're way too nice. I got a much different name. Probably don't need to say it on live.
I bet you do.
Well, you probably shouldn't, although I'll let you if you want to.
No, I'm good.
All right. So what are you looking at this game, Cuervo? I know you hate the hated green men from the north. I mean, yeah, gotcha. The hated green men from the north. What do you got? What are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bryce did a pretty good breakdown. It seems teams are similar, but I think the difference is the Steeler defense. And I think that they're a lot more dominant than those ugly green guys play defense. So to me, I think I expect to see a low scoring game just because both offenses are not great. I know the media and a lot of people are dying to anoint Jordan Love as
they are
the next generational quarterback for these guys and whatever, but it ain't gonna happen. Hey, I'm telling you, it's time for Green Bay. It's time for Packer, all those Packer lovers to realize that all those years of good quarterback play, it's gone now because Love is not. He's not going to be at the level that Favre and Rodgers were. So, welcome to the real world, Green Bay. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I wish I had my James Brown. The thing at me, I feel good to wake this guy up. That guy right there is falling asleep on us. Wake up and enlighten me with your knowledge of the heel manager of what you think about the Green Bay Packers today taking on the Steelers.
He can't wait to hear us talk about how the Giants are going to upset Dallas. That's what he's waiting for.
I got to go over there. Wake up. Here, I'm trying to shake him awake. Wake up now. What you got going on, Trey Mack?
I'm sorry. Driving to Texas, driving back up to Oklahoma is tiring. I'm telling you. But look, here's the thing. Kenny Pickens and Jordan Love Is there a difference?
Oh, I don't think there is. Listen, I don't think I can argue that.
There is. Let me tell you what it is.
Yeah, please do.
Mike Tomlin.
No, well, that's one, but fourth quarter. That's the difference. One thing Kenny Pickett has shown when it comes to his ability to turn up and make plays in the fourth quarter to win, he's up there. He's doing it already.
Well, they're seventh in the NFL in the fourth quarter, scoring 7.3 points in the fourth quarter, which means they're battling back to try to win a football game, and they have gutted it out and won, and that's what they needed to do. Go ahead, Trey.
I can talk now.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in with the
son?
stat. And you know me, I'm forgetful. I had to do it right when I thought
jump the hell out then, all right?
Somebody mute Sonny, please.
All right, no shit.
Well, after you're done, though, Trey, I got something that I just noticed in the Patriot and Colts game. But go ahead. Floor's
Okay,
yours,
no, look.
Now you're being interrupted by Cuervo, but go ahead.
But I like Cuervo. Look.
Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. I knew there was something about it.
Sonny is one to talk. Not interrupt.
I love it.
Here's Trey Mack. Go ahead, Trey.
Are you going to finish this, Trey, or are you just going to stand there looking at me?
I get so tired after these shows. I'm like saying, I have to go to work. I'm sitting there going,
me too. That's why I look for a nap.
Hey, I've been yelled at by Sonny for the last 4 hours. I'm not going to handle this right now. Look, it's going to come down to coaching, all right? I trust Tomlin a lot more than I trust LaFleur, okay?
Oh, God, yes.
And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a grinder. These two teams, they're missing the same kind of weapon with the same kind of weapons that that they're dealing with right now. And I think quarterback wise, you're even, like you said, Bryce, until the fourth quarter. And I think Steeler Nation takes it this week.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think they blow them out. Okay, and this is the reason why. Okay, no one's expecting this in this game, and I think it's time, because this is what I think. I'm going to predict something for Bryce that he's going to hate me for. Okay, so mark this day. It's November 12th. Bryce is going to hate Sonny.
Oh, for God's sake,
they're going to do enough, and they're going to win this football game. They're going to slowly fall back in love with Matt Canada, and he's going to be your offensive coordinator next year. I'm telling you, it is a setup for it to happen.
You know what, Cuervo? You're gonna hate me for saying this. I talked to, you got the Steelers shows, and I've written in some of them. I've actually floated that scenario that could happen. There is a scenario, I am not ruling that out, where if they were to actually turn this thing around offensively and start playing better and make a run, I could see Mike Tomlin entertaining actually signing back up for this offense. Now,
I'm scared for you for that reason, by the way.
The response from the Steelers shows is we don't think, regardless, he's done. I'm not punting on it yet. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Of course. But
could you imagine if the Steelers blow out the Green Bay Packers, how much of a god Matt Canada is going to be?
Please do it.
Well, here's what would have to happen. And Sonny, as much as you, as the resident person on here, needs to get drug tested the most for the things you say, that's actually not out of the realm of possibility. The Cuervo, Podfather, there is a pathway where if the Steelers, because they're 5-3, you look at the schedule, it's not that the games are just totally unwinnable.
That's what I buy.
If they turn this offense around and start doing more things and scoring more points, and they start winning and actually make some type of a run, there is a scenario where they could say, let's run it back. We got some continuity. Let's run it back with Matt Canada. I'm not saying maybe it's minuscule. It could actually happen.
Well, if that happens, though, you better hope to God that there's an NFL team out there that says, you know what? Matt Canada be a good head coach for us right now. They
Maybe
take
a
him away
college,
from Pittsburgh.
maybe a college team. He could go the way of Joe Walton. Some small college team might come be our head coach, run our program, like when Chuck Noll needed to get rid of Joe Walton back in the day. He goes to Robert Morris and then becomes like he got a stadium named after him in a small college. So I would love to see it, but there is a path where Matt Canada could actually come back next year as the offensive coordinator.
Keeping it real.
Punch me in the face right now. It could happen.
And I'm just saying, and this is basically what I'm looking at. By the way, Packers are not a good football team. Okay, that's just the way it is. The Steelers are a B-C+ football team, which should be able to do it. And what happens in this type of game, and especially with what's going on as far as the Steelers are concerned, there's question marks all over this team, but a lot of it obviously is coming from the coaching staff. If they go out and they start doing, I think, by the way, I think this might be the game where they might realize they got a running back that can also catch the ball out of the backfield and be really good. Watch for that. I don't know what it is. I just got a premonition about them putting them in the position to bring that guy to the heights that he could possibly be on a regular basis. What's his name? His name's the running back. I forget it. I know who it is. I just can't remember his name. Who's the running back for the Steelers?
Jalen Warren and Najee Harris.
Najee Harris. They're gonna finally realize that Najee Harris, wow, he can do more than just run the football. And I think they started because why? The controversy is that they're not utilizing him enough. You think that they're not hearing this? Okay, yeah, they've got a bunch of idiots like us out there saying it, but when experts are talking about it, they'll maybe listen to it, and guess what? Maybe and this would be the ideal game to do it. You can't do that really in reality experiment against Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Baltimore, which, like you said, it's all about winning the division. This is an outside division game. This should be a game that they should be able to win. I think they blow them out of the water today. I really do. And it won't be because they really should. It's just that, there's a saying, where things that you don't expect to happen are going to happen. That's what I think. So that being said, officially on the line, I am on the Steelers, and I think they win big. Trey Mack, who are you on officially on this game?
Now I'm offended. We've got one show. You call me a misfit and an idiot. So,
well, you are an idiot.
I'm being trolled by an elf. I mean, come on. Look. Okay. All right. Well, officially, because I've already said this before.
That's being trolled.
I've already said this before. Clearly, saying it was his own show. I said I'm picking the Steelers.
Okay.
So that was already
just
official.
making sure. I thought maybe I might have convinced you. I don't know. Cuervo.
No.
No. All right. Cuervo, who are you on?
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, look at this! This is good. We got a clean slate here. All four of us on your Steelers. I love it. As far as by the way, how long do we got you, Bryce? How long are you hanging with us?
So 12:30.
So 12:30. I got 7 minutes. You pick the last game, an afternoon game because we've been doing morning games. Is there an afternoon game you're looking at as far as this week?
Well, first and foremost, let me say, obviously, I got the Steelers. No blowout, though. I think it'll be a close game.
Okay. All right. So you got the Steelers. So what other game do you want to talk about? I know what game I think you should talk about.
Afternoon games.
Well, hold on. Is the Cleveland Brown Baltimore Ravens an afternoon game?
No, that's 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, talk about that one because it's your division and your Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. The Ravens are on top of that division, on top of your Steelers. And listen, the AFC North never, ever, puts out something that you don't want to say. And you got to love it. It is the best division for competition in the NFL. I honestly believe that. They never fail us to be a great game, and this is going to be a great game today too. But it's a tough game to pick because you're looking at the Browns defense being as good as they are, but are they really as good as they are with the type of quarterback that is a Lamar Jackson who can throw and run? You notice how I said throw first, right?
Yes.
Anyway, that said, what are you looking at when you take a look at this game there, Bryce?
First of all, there is another member of this show who is conspicuous by his absence.
He's having internet problems, according to what Cuervo said. I didn't even know.
Yeah, whatever he said. I hope he's listening right now. Because I'm like, put the focus on the Green Bay Packers, put the focus on the Baltimore Ravens, because next week your presence is required.
And I'll message him. I'll make sure he's here.
Who will remain nameless, who should be on here to rep his team, but is not. I hope he's listening. You will be required to be here next week, and you know why. So we'll just keep it there.
Rhymes with Moby.
He's listening. So this season shows up next week. All right. Ravens, Brownies. In Baltimore. It's going to be a tough game for the Brownies. Only because, look, I like the Brownie defense.
I do too.
And I think, I think it's a good defense. I think they have finally. I think it's well coordinated, and that's the thing that I think first and foremost we got to start with. I think Jim Schwartz, hiring him as a defensive coordinator was a very, very good move. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. He brings the right mentality. With that being said, the Ravens.
Of course, that's the name of the show.
That's the name of the show every Sunday. 9 to 12. The Ravens put the stamp on that first game. They came out and pummeled the Browns. Now, the Browns had some injuries. So the Browns going into Baltimore, they need this. If the Browns want to contend for the division, you need to win this game. You get swept by the Ravens, it's going to be very difficult with the games you have left to win the division. I think they'll have Deshaun Watson back. Deshaun Watson has to go off this game, plain and simple. Even if Lamar throws for like 200 yards or something, what Lamar's going to bring you with the plays he will make throwing the football and the ability, as you said, to run the football. These are the games that you paid Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed for. He needs to show up and show out, period. Mm-hmm. If he does not show up and show out, they're not going to beat Baltimore in Baltimore. Because I think while the Browns defense is good enough, being in Baltimore allows Baltimore to run the ball and dictate pace. And if there's too much pressure put on that defense, you can't expect Baltimore to just beat themselves like they did against us. So Deshaun Watson has to show up and ball out. I don't think it's going to be enough. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Ravens, even though I want to see the Browns actually win this game.
3-game lead if they win over the Browns and the Bengals in reality. A 3-game lead over them.
Yeah, the Steelers really want the Browns to win this game, but Deshaun Watson has to go off, and I don't know if he's going to go off like that.
I don't know if he's capable, man. I really do. Sometimes I think this guy can do it, and sometimes I seriously doubt it. And where I seriously doubt it is going up against a good defensive football team. So that's where my problem comes in line, because when you look at that Ravens defense there, Cuervo, you're not looking at just an average defense. You're looking at a pretty damn good defense that will bitch slap you all over the football field if you don't come to play. And that's what I worry about when I look at this game. Will the Browns come to play? And and will they be able to figure out a defensive scheme to stop Lamar Jackson? Because guess what? It's not game 13, so he's still playing football this year. And, it's kind of questionable after week 13. After that, but as of right now, they got what I would consider, and believe me, Bryce, you probably won't believe I'll say this, but you have the current reigning mid-season MVP right now in Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I said it. I know. Listen, I didn't lie. I said it. Okay. Now that being said, are the Browns good enough to scheme to figure out defensively? They're good defensively, but are they good enough to scheme against Lamar Jackson, who is the current and reigning mid-season MVP? That was you, Cuervo.
No. Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. I think you can slow Lamar down, but you're not going to shut him down. You might be able to slow him down, but I don't see the Browns shutting him down. So, with that being said, this is my smacking of the week. I think Baltimore handles Cleveland. I think they handle Cleveland. Look, Baltimore is probably one of the hottest teams in the game right now.
Absolutely.
The way they won last week, I just don't see Cleveland having much of a chance. So I think the Ravens smack them around.
Bitch slap them all over the football field. Trey Mack. Yeah, you're almost falling asleep. Wake up there a little bit. What do you got in this one?
I'm here. No, if Cleveland's defense can shut Lamar Jackson's running ability down to force him to pass, that still won't give him enough chance to beat him. But thing is, you got to start there first, and you got to force mistakes, and you got to force 3 and outs quite a bit, and that's gonna be hard to do with a team that has more than one weapon to move the ball. So I think Baltimore takes this pretty well. I do think it's going to be I do think we're going to see one thing we're not even talking about really is the Deshaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who can move the ball better? We never hear about the Ravens defense as much as we hear about the Browns. That might be a factor, but I don't think it'll be the ass kicking that Cuervo thinks it's going to be. I do think it's going to be close, within 10. But I think Baltimore takes it.
So that being said, I got to say this.
This is total BS.
We're going to lose old Bryce. We appreciate him. He said he was here at the bottom of the hour. I don't want to keep him any longer than he said he needs to. It stinks. It's total BS that we lose. But he is always welcome anytime,
Bryce.
as long as he wants to be here.
Okay.
Listen, it's always great to come on with the Podfather himself, the world's #1 heel, and the fine co-host of this show, Cuervo. He's sitting back. He's in the clubhouse. He's got his win. He's gonna watch all the games. He's gonna root for the Steelers to be his least favorite team in the world.
I'm gonna find the most yellow towel I can find in my house. Right, so I will be waving it
because he won't own one of those terrible towels, but he might have a yellow one.
So basically, you're gonna take a white towel and piss all over it and just lay it around the house.
That's what I gotta do.
There's the chair shot. There's the chair shot right to the back of the head.
You got it. So, Bryce,
As soon as I said that, I thought about
my
it.
friend. By the way, I didn't say it. He does have the best smile on the internet. It is Bryce from Brooklyn. He has to fight the women. You know what? He has to rope a dope all the women. He's just like bouncing around like so. And it's the smile. That's what it is. It's the smile. So always good to see you, my friend. Hasta luego. He is Bryce from Brooklyn. He just makes me laugh. And by the way, that being said, this guy right here, when we were calling wrestling, half the time I was laughing, half the time I didn't know what I was saying, and then half the time I was trying to call the game, or the match. Notice how that didn't add up. It's one of my favorite.
It really did. There'd be a lot of times I would try to throw in a really good piece of material to you, and you just let that one go right over your head, and you just kept calling them. I would tell you, don't call the moves. They can see the moves. Just call the action. You just kept calling, and a body slam, and a suplex, and I'm like, dude, they can see that. So
that's old Gorilla Monsoon stuff right there. When you're announcing the moves.
But here's the thing though, Gorilla found time to let Bobby have his moment to get in there and get in a quick joke or two. or at
Right.
least add something to the conversation. Sonny just disregarded me altogether,
A
and
lot,
then
a lot of times I did
and
because it
then
was
a
so
lot of times
nonsensical.
then a lot of times I would have to sit there and just come up with comedy stuff to get him to start laughing so he can shut up so I can get in any word edgewise.
Uh,
Hey, the basic example of that was Dean Fleming versus Ryzen in a 3 stages of hell match, and just going back
yeah,
and watching that
you had to
and
do the
seeing
whole
me,
first match because I was laughing through the whole first match. The
yeah,
blind part. Yeah, I,
yeah,
wa-
blindfolded.
By the way, I watch that at least once a month, especially when I'm feeling down and I want to laugh. And I just watch that match again. It's on YouTube, by the way. You can catch it over there. So it's good stuff. But, all right. That being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Got more games to talk about in this one. As far as that, I don't.
Hey, I got to go here in a
Yeah,
little bit. Can we knock out my game real quick?
that's where I was going. I was going to the
All right.
Cowboy game. I didn't know how long you had, but I was going to the Cowboy game.
This is
And
gonna be
listen,
It's gonna be short and sweet. Okay,
short and sweet against the New York Giants. Go ahead. What do you got?
Dallas wins. It won't be the 40-0 blowout that we had the last time, but it'll be a no-brainer, I think.
Boy, that's about the least I've ever heard you say about the Dallas Cowboys all year long.
Well, what am I
See what I mean?
am I going to throw out the fact that the referees screwed the Cowboys the last game? No.
Oh, here we
Because,
go.
I said no. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
Am I
but
gonna
it's still in the back of his mind, or he wouldn't be saying it.
Am I going to throw the fact that Dallas is owned New York? The only thing that scares me is the same problem I had with Arizona. Dallas plays a quarterback they're not familiar with.
I get it.
And they always suck with that. But then again, you're talking about Danny DeVito's little brother, or whatever his name is.
Oh, God.
So,
I never even heard of this guy, even an inkling of this guy. And I was just like, oh, Jesus.
Listen,
and they're going to this guy.
When Mr. Irrelevant's like, who? That's an issue.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's worse than Mr. Irrelevant. My God. So always good to see you, Podfather. Always enjoy having you on, even though you're the biggest pain in my ass I've ever had. But it is what it is. But it is always good to see you, my friend.
Listen,
and let me ask Cuervo, you think he'd be a good bad Santa?
A good bad Santa?
A good bad Santa right there. That guy right there.
He'd be a great bad Santa. A great one.
And we could sit in the same booth and see who gets more people to come and see him. That would be great.
More people. I think
people.
Trey's going for one particular type of person.
Exactly. Midgets.
Yeah, there you go. God, I can't take him anywhere. I can't take him anywhere. He is the Podfather. Always good to see you, my friend. We'll check next week. You got time next week?
Okay.
I'll be in my studio next week. I'll be good.
Gotcha. Have a good one. So there you go. Yeah, he's going to work. He's going to go keep those gamblers in check.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, and tell people Rod Stewart's sick. See you later, guys. Have a good one.
Well, hey, I'll say, Cuervo, last week we had Rod Stewart here on Sunday, right?
No, you didn't.
Well, we were supposed to have him here. He postponed the show the day of the show. They had people flying in from Poland to come see him here. Wow. Why they want to fly to Oklahoma, I have no idea. But they were going to fly here to see
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart here. So we were given a script of what we can and can't say to encourage them to keep their ticket until February 8th. I thought about doing a wrestling promo. I thought about doing the Hulk Hogan. Let me tell you something, brothers. If you come here February 8th, 2024, come see Rod Stewart, Sir Rod Stewart. Do the whole thing there. I thought I'd draw a big draw for him.
Right. Thought he'd help you. Just trying to help.
I'm just trying to be helpful. I mean, I can do the Macho Man thing. A little sick today, maybe COVID, maybe strep. Not sure what it is, but he's not here right now. Okay. Peace out, guys.
Peace out. Good to see.
Wow.
He is a nut. He is and he has the nerve to get mad at me calling him a misfit. It's just like what? Anyway,
It's a compliment. That should be a
oh Lord
compliment.
have mercy! What a day! I am so tired. I have road rash on my ass. I've been dragging ass all day, but I come and do this show, and then I get that of adrenaline. I'm gonna be okay for the 7 hours of the NFL football that's going on. By the way, who's winning the game right now?
Oh, so yeah, it's been over for a little while now. That was going to be my, I guess, breaking news, if you want to call it. So the Colts win the shootout 10-6. All right, Colts win
The shootout.
But here's the interesting thing. About 3 minutes to go in the game, Sonny, Mac Jones threw an interception.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
And he got benched.
How many minutes were left in the game?
There was like 5 minutes left in the 4 minutes left.
They couldn't have made that decision maybe after the first drive of the third quarter to realize that. By the way,
listen,
interesting that
it's not like the game was a blowout, Sonny. So
no, I know, but ineffectiveness. I mean, we can't. I mean, 10 points. Come on. But interestingly enough, I'm thinking for the last 2 seasons, you want to talk about, well, and you got to count Mac Jones, which is 4 seasons, okay? Missing on talent. Bill Belichick is just missing on talent, which he never used to do. Now, I'm going to ask you the reason why you think that is compared lately to where it was before. I think I know your answer, but I don't want to steal any thunder. Why do you think we are seeing the 2 different Bill Belichicks, compared to what we've seen before?
Well, I can tell you, I don't think it has anything to do with Tom Brady. But I don't know if there's like certain coordinators or certain scouts or certain assistant coaches that have left New England that were that had a good eye for talent, and now they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be the first thing I'd look at as to what the difference is between then and now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it has anything to do with the way Belichick coaches or anything like that. It's just the eye for talent is gone. And I don't know if Belichick was ever the one that had the eye, because for obvious reasons. So that being said, I think there's somebody that they probably regret letting go, whether it was a scout or an assistant coach of some sort.
Okay.
And now you see the difference between the level of talent and the way the team flows between 7-8 years ago and now.
Right. So
yeah, I mean, obviously quarterback does make a difference. I'm not saying it doesn't. As far as how much talent they got on the team or how well they look on the field, I think especially defensively, it has nothing to do with Brady. So there's something missing. There's someone missing with the Patriots.
So, and I say this before, but I seem to be wrong about Russell Wilson. It's almost like he forgot how to play the position, and I think the same thing. It's almost like Bill Belichick. He might see something that might help this football team in certain ways, but maybe he's missing on that reason why they grab him up. Now, that being said, you look at Mac Jones. When they drafted this guy, okay, all right, they had Mac Jones backing up with Tom Brady. Wow, listen, if you're going to learn from someone, right, Tom Brady.
That wasn't what happened.
I know exactly. I mean, we're not necessarily seeing any learning that Mac Jones has done with.
You're saying that would have been
good
for him.
Huh?
You're saying that would have been good for him.
It should have. Right?
Well, but you know what? That's why they drafted Mac Jones, because they were looking for the next quarterback of the future of the team. So if Brady was still there, who's to say they would even draft Mac Jones? They probably wouldn't have.
Well, hold on. They've had Mac Jones for 4 years. So carrying the clipboard with the GOAT, you would think, and sort of like the same thing we're seeing in Green Bay, right? Aaron Rodgers, and then you got Jordan Love carrying the clipboard for 2 future GOATs, right? That they might have been able to bring something in, or in this case, the Belichick way. And we're not getting that. Was it the fact that maybe Mac Jones, when he was being scouted, wasn't what they thought he was going to be, or they thought they can turn him into? Now, here's what I'm thinking. If you honestly thought, and if you were Bill Belichick, if you honestly thought this kid was going to be able to come in and step into the GOAT's shoes, even 70%, I think you were overestimating a certain talent. And that's where I look at where finding the talent. And then there's another thing outside of it is that if you go back and you see all those championships over the last 20 years, players bought into the Belichick way. Now we're getting entitled players coming in and now dominating the population of football now. And that attitude and the Bill Belichick way is not necessarily looked at as that's the way to do it, even though it's been successful for the last 20 years.
Well, I mean, I think you can make that argument all around the league, not just with the New.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So, I think those type of disciplinary type coaches aren't as influential no more. And then I say that, and then you look at a guy like Tomlin, and he's still getting it done in Pittsburgh. Those are guys that have been there for a while, though. It's not like the team is young. It's not like the team is, full of rookies or guys that are less than 5 years in the league. Steelers are a veteran team, and they've been with Tomlin, for years now. So that's the difference.
Or is the difference that they are buying what Tomlin's selling more so than what Bill Belichick is selling?
I think it's an issue, not an issue, but I think it's a situation where I think Mike Tomlin does a better job of kind of being more relatable with his players.
I get it. I get it. Adaptability to change with the personnel that's coming in more so than you adapt to Bill Belichick kind of thing is probably what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. I think Belichick is more, the old school because he came from the Parcells coaching tree and all that. And Mike Tomlin, he still is a guy that breeds discipline. However, I think Tomlin is more in tune with the younger guys.
I fully agree with you.
And Belichick is just not. He's just not.
He doesn't know how to
get and relate to the younger crowd. I mean, he's still probably, I don't know, listens to ZZ Top or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hold on. Nothing wrong with ZZ Top. I'm saying who under the age of 30 listens to ZZ Top? Probably very few.
All right.
Very few people, adults that under 30.
So it's too much BGs blasting in the locker room, maybe.
I don't know what Belichick likes, but he seems to me like maybe a classic rock type guy.
Yeah, maybe
a little Skinner or something like that. Which Mac Jones probably likes because he seems like a Southern rock type of guy, but yeah, I mean, but the rest of these guys, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Belichick knows how to connect with the younger players, and Mike Tomlin does a better job of it.
I think I agree with you 100%. I think you hit the nail on the head. Now, before we go into rapid fire, I wanted to get one more opinion from you. Okay, about it's sports related. The Pat McAfee show before ESPN, the Pat McAfee show after ESPN. Which is better?
I can't tell you because I haven't watched it since he's been on ESPN.
Okay, now I'm not a religious watcher. If I'm gonna watch something, I'm not watching First Take. I'm not watching all those shows anymore. I figured them out. They don't care about they only care about the ratings, and they'll say whatever it does to help the ratings. So I'm not buying into hardly any of that crap anymore. I will buy into Pat McAfee. I buy into him because he seems the most honest, and I think what the problem I'm having with McAfee, at least for his shows that are on ESPN before he goes to YouTube, there's handcuffing this guy with guests. I don't want any okay, not the fact I don't want any, I just don't want as many. And this guy has guest after guest after guest after guest after guest after guest. I'm tired of it. I want to hear sports. I want to hear his opinion on things.
Yeah.
That's the difference where I'm seeing in the show. I'd like to see more talk about more things instead of guest after guest after guest.
I'm with you, and that's the Pat that I know is, he'll have, his Rogers thing once a week. He's had, like Dan Orlovsky on every now and then. He'll have, and guests, it's more like guys joining on the show, not like interviews. So I don't know if that's
exactly.
I guess like as in, hey, interview after interview after interview, or like special.
That's what it was for this last week. This last week, he had guests after guests that had no really connection to the show, like an Aaron Rodgers does, or the former coach of the Colts. His name's slipping my mind.
Pagano.
Yes, exactly. The guys that he knew more so, and I think that's almost like a curveball that was thrown at him from ESPN when he joined that thing, to where that would end up happening, and it dominates the show more so than I want to hear more from those guys. Even the ones behind the glass, they even know sports. It's really good. I like listening, but we're not getting that anymore. And I think it's hurting the product. But I get why it's happening, because it is ESPN.
I'll tell you what, though, Pat's the type of guy, if he sees his ratings dropping because it's too much political and too much, not enough sports, and you can tell that their personalities have changed because now they have to, button up and got, put the tie on and all that stuff, so to speak. I'm willing to bet Pat seems like he will not hesitate to back out of his contract or buy me out, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to do this no more. I want to go back to doing my thing, which that surprised me in the first place, the fact that he agreed to do the ESPN thing.
He was making loads of money before he went there.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. Now he's making more money than one Stephen A. Smith. And I'm telling you right now, you can tell it's not settling well with him. He can come out and say whatever he wants publicly, but he is not happy that Pat McAfee's making more money, and he's going to make ESPN pay for that when it comes time for his contract to be renewed next year.
Oh, yeah. That's why he's not mad, because I've heard him talk about it, Stephen A.
Oh, he has talked about it? I'm surprised.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and you got to give a lot of credit to Stephen A. Sonny. He's been very mature about it, because
really
the way he looks at it and this was before Pat even started. This is right after it was announced that Pat was going to join ESPN. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm happy for him. Yes, he's making more than me, whatever. He goes, but when it's my turn, I'm going to get mine. Just like you just said. He knows when his payday comes, you're right. He is going to make ESPN fork up. That's why he's just like, okay, he's making more than me right now. That's cool. But when it's my time, when it's my turn, then it's going to go back to, basically he's saying it's going to go back to me being the higher paid guy.
these two guys are having the hiatus of these experts and guys that have been on that show for those shows for a long time, getting the old pink slip and it being gone. And those two guys are the reason why you're seeing them now. Some of them I'm glad are gone, but some of them I'm like, gosh, you got to keep this guy, and unfortunately, we're not necessarily seeing that. But that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. It will turn. I think it's gonna turn ESPN. I think people are going to move away from it, because if you're only having to listen to Pat and you only have to listen to Stephen A and whatever cronies he wants to bring onto the show, then I think it's going to hurt the product for ESPN. It's not going to hurt Stephen A. I think as a product as a whole, I think it's going to hurt ESPN in reality. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. It's going to be an interesting year until we get up to the signing and when it actually contract renegotiations start rolling for Stephen A, and how that affects the bottom line, because they started the hiatus when they announced that Pat McAfee contract. He had a mass exit. I think we're going to see more of that mass exit. It'll be interesting to see who it's going to be. So that being said, we got 5 minutes. We got to go into kind of a rapid fire. 4-5. Atlanta Falcons going up against the Arizona Cardinals, 1-8. As far as injuries and the one that anybody wants to know about in reality, what's going on with the quarterback position for the Arizona Cardinals? Well, Kyler Murray is still questionable. So that being said, that's the really only question in this game. Who do you got? Arizona and Atlanta in Arizona.
Yeah, I like the Falcons, and it's sounding a lot like Kyler Murray is actually going to play today. We're going to see him for
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. But I still take the Falcons.
I still take him too, but it's not going to be a good game as far as that is concerned. It's going to be the ugly game, and they'll go to it because it's Kyler Murray, more than that. Now, this is the game that really confused me. The game is in Seattle. No weather issues. 5-3 Seattle going up against the 4-5 Washington Commanders. Give me a reason to pick the Commanders, because Sonny is not a great big fan of Seattle, but that I am 3 or 4 when I've picked Seattle to win. Give me a reason to pick Seattle, because I'm kind of officially on Washington.
I think people are still kind of not big believers in Sam Howell. I'm not saying he's, Mark Rippon of the 91 Redskins, but
love it. Thank you.
He's doing his thing, man. I mean, Sam Howell's playing decent football. And so that offense moves well when they're playing, when Howell's not turning the ball over. Offense it looks like it's very competent, and that's all thanks to Eric Bieniemy.
Interesting, we're saying that, right? Because we've had opinions about him by a long time, but here's the reason why I'm picking Washington in case something does go. Maybe the second best backup quarterback in the NFL might be Jacoby Brissett. And listen, I like him as a backup. You and I both know I never liked him as a starter, but as a backup, man, he is about as solid as it comes in reality. So if you do lose Howell, you got Jacoby that you can depend upon. So I'm on Washington. Are you on Washington? Or are you going to go ahead and make the stretch pick?
I'm going to make the stretch pick. I'm going with the Seahawks. I think they bounced back from the embarrassing loss that they had last week, and I like the Seahawks.
All right, I'm saving one afternoon game and getting past these other ones because it's a good game. But the Jets 4-4 are going up against 4-5 Raiders. I don't know. You can live and die by what the change of at the top, right? Follow the regime and enjoy what you got. But is it going to be good enough here this week as they go in and they're home taking on the Jets? That Jets defense is good, but I don't know if they're going to have enough offensively to get the job done. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders. I think it's a breath of fresh air to have Antonio Pearson there as their head coach now. And the Jets, they looked awful last Monday night against the Chargers.
Yeah.
So
Your defense can only do so much when they're out on the field for so damn long. It's just like, God.
Right. Yep, exactly. So yep, I'll take their Raiders.
I take their Raiders as well. Monday Night Football is the Buffalo Bills 5-4 Broncos. There's not much to talk about in reality, but maybe will we get a sight of Russell Wilson playing on Monday night and try to get a win? Hey, listen, right now, Buffalo not playing good football. Listen, and it started with the Jaguar game, by the way, just to let you know. They started getting, it's like a knife went in the tire in reality, and they have been running really, really low and not playing good football. I'm on Buffalo, just more than the fact that on paper, Buffalo is a better football team. And that's all I got on that. I mean, it's the only thing I can say, because here's the thing, Cuervo, Denver is not all that good, but Denver, say whatever you want. They get in prime time, and Russell Wilson decides that he's going to play a full 4 quarters at the quarterback position and utilize his weapons. Who knows what could end up happening? But I'm not going to pick the Buffalo. I'm gonna pick Buffalo over the Broncos. Who do you got?
You know what, Sonny? I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Oh my God! Really? Wait. Okay. So wait. So I got to know: is this any influence of someone that is in that house? I mean, I don't know. Is she proving her points to you, or are you trying to keep peace in the house?
She said she wasn't going to cook me dinner all week if I took Buffalo.
Gotcha. So
no dinner for the whole week.
Man, that'd be a long week.
It's gonna be a long week of nothing.
Listen, I cook my own food, so I know that's a long week.
No, listen. You said you taking Buffalo because they're better on paper, right? Well, so was Kansas City 2 weeks ago against the Denver Broncos. And look what happened.
Every blind dog finds a bone every once in a while. Okay. By the way, everybody picked Kansas City in that game. So come on. And who's better on paper, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Denver Broncos?
Well, I mean, Kansas City's obviously better, but it's not about paper. But
that's all I can pick in this game, because oh my God, really? I mean, I don't know. Life's a box of chocolates. That is Russell Wilson. You don't know what you're going to get right now. And by the way,
you can say the same thing about Buffalo. You don't know what you're going to get.
This is total BS.
And that's my point about this game. That's why I'm picking by paper, not by what I'm seeing, because I don't know what I'm going to see. So I got to go paper. I mean, have you seen anything that the Broncos have done for the last 3 weeks that actually pick them over Buffalo? And then you got to turn around and ask the same question about Buffalo against them. So that's why I'm going paper.
Offense. I think the offense is starting to look like they know what they're doing. Denver's offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not where you want it to be, of course.
Right.
But I do think the offensive line is starting to
look a little better.
They're looking a little bit better. And then, for Buffalo, I mean, Josh Allen, man, look, I think it's time, and people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say. I think it's time to start looking at Josh Allen as just another guy.
Wow.
I just don't think he's big time.
He's a jag. Oh my God.
And so, the Denver defense needs to take advantage of how average Josh Allen's playing right now.
And mistake prone, by the way. He's not
very much so.
Well, okay. Just let me just find it really quick, because I love this page that I'm getting. Wait, where is it? Where are they at? Because this is a classic example of how stats can override what you're doing. You know who the best in the NFL on third down is? The Buffalo Bills. It's such a weird stat. When I wanted to check and make sure I had the right, and it was. They're the best team in the NFL on third down. Okay, and you can say whatever you want. 50% is not a passing grade, but in the NFL on third down, that's as best as it's getting in the NFL. So if you get there half the time, you're doing something. But here's the thing. Buffalo hasn't been winning football games. Normally, when you're that good on third down, you win football games. So that is another thing I was looking at, and that's the reason why I'm taking Buffalo Bills. Now, that also being said, when you take a look at the Denver Broncos in the NFL, let's find out where they are. Denver. They are 15th in the NFL on third down. So at 40%. So it's an interesting stats that I found. I don't know. So you're gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. You're gonna take the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. Now the game that I
could always change. I got till tomorrow. So, but
yeah.
I'm feeling the Broncos right now. And plus, I want home cooked meals when I get home from work.
Yeah. I love it. I understand. I get it. It makes sense too. Now, the game that I held off on, okay, that we haven't talked about, Detroit Lions, and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk? This should be automatic, Cuervo, and that's why I hate that. That's why I hate the Chargers sometimes. Okay, because they can make you believe. Is it really realistic to believe in them? Last two games, the Chargers have been playing good football, but the Lions, they've been playing good football too. And 6-2 is 6-2. I know that's easy to say because I talk about my Jaguars all day long. I feel more confident in the Lions being 6-2 than I do the Jaguars do. Okay. And that's just because their overall game is better than the Jaguars. And we can argue that point until it's blue in the face. I'm telling you right now, they are.
Right.
Now, I wish we had time, if we could argue. But more in the fact they got the Chargers this week. I don't know. Are they improving on offense for the last three games? Yes. Had the Lions? Yes. But the difference in reality, when I'm looking at this football team, I'm looking at Justin Herbert. And I'm wondering, has he figured it out yet? And I think he's slowly beginning to figure it out. Now, should it have taken to this time? No. But I hate picking a game in reality more so for the coaches than the players. In this game, I've decided to leave the coaching out of it because I can find something bad to say about both of them, especially the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. Never mind their head coach. But I'm looking at home. I'm looking at the last three games. I've seen Justin Herbert look like he's about ready to flip the switch. I really do. I think he's slowly figuring it out. The question is, Cuervo, is he going to figure it out against the Lions defense?
No. Don't. That it's fool's gold with the Chargers, Sonny. By the way, we already have our first.
I know. I hate that. Who's up on the board?
The Baltimore Ravens. And I'll be damned. I meant to say it. I was going to slap the table that the Ravens were going to get a defensive touchdown, and they get it on the first play of the game.
There you go.
First play of the game.
I believe you.
You know, I can't claim it because I didn't say it. I didn't say it. So I can't claim it.
I believe you. I for one believe.
There was so much conversation going on. It's like
so much fun. Sorry about that. We slipped the door.
But yeah, first play, defensive touchdown. Deshaun Watson gets picked, and Kyle Hamilton took it to the house. But yeah, look, Sonny, the Chargers, it's fool's gold right now. Yes, they've won 2 games in a row. Yes, it looked really good. But it was against the Bears and the Jets.
God.
Okay? That really, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I'm not a big believer in the Miami Dolphins anymore. I know they're on a bye
Well,
week, and
they're
we'll
they're
talk about
they're
them
proving they're really good against bad football teams, but not necessarily against good football teams. They are
right.
proving that.
That's exactly right. So,
Sort of what I've been talking about the Jaguars all year long.
yeah, and so with that being said, it's the same thing with the Chargers. Yeah, this looked good for 2 weeks, but they've beat two bad teams. So it's just it's not, don't buy too much into what the Chargers have been doing the past couple of weeks. Take
Yeah,
Detroit.
but they're home. They're
So
home.
what? So what?
I don't know why I'm on the. I might reserve the right to change my mind on this pick. I don't know. I just worry about a football team. As far as the Lions who have never done it before on a consistent level. More so the Chargers, at least they're kind of up and down. But here's the difference in reality on third down, because I love third down stats. Detroit's 13th in the NFL. The Chargers are 12th. So they're almost the same football team in reality. So there wasn't a lot of times I look at that third down thing, and if I have a question about the football team, the third down will make a difference on my pick. They're the same. They're right there, 40.3 and 40.4. So they're right there. So I'm grabbing up home team like it's 3-point spread in the game and hoping that they can cover 3. So I don't know. This was the hardest game of the week for me to pick, and I know it seems like it's really easy for you because you see and listen to more being in LA. Hear more about the Chargers than I do, but the eye test. I see the eye test getting better, but I also worry about the mirage of who did they play in order for the eye test to look good. I do it with the Jaguars. I should do it against them, but I wonder sometimes in the back of my mind, are the Lions, are they the Lions that are gonna just come away with a great season, and we might see them in NFC division championship game, somewhere in there, I don't know, or not division championship, but NFC championship game. Everybody's talking about this, and listen, you know more than that because you joined me week in and week out. I was on the Lions bandwagon 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, and then last year. I was still there, but I lost trust in it. And I don't know if I've gained it back. I know 6-2 is good, but I don't know if it's good. And if they play and I'll put this in air quotes, supposedly good football team in the Chargers, if they get that win, I think we have to really seriously consider the Lions as not just a good football, they're a damn good football team because you don't go 7-2 in the NFL regardless who you're playing unless you're a damn good football team in reality. Because you got to play week in and week out.
That's right. So
right now I'm on the Chargers. I'm going to reserve the right to change that one before it kicks off this afternoon. I'm not sure what I mean, I don't even want to flip the couch potato quarter because I'm missing something in order for me to be definitive about that pick, and I don't know what it is yet. So, but I'm gonna go. I'm kind of like officially on the Chargers for the show. I got 5 minutes before the pick. So you're not gonna make the switch. So you're staying with the one that you made.
Lions.
Was it yeah, but the Lions. I mean, but earlier where you were on the fence.
Oh, the 49ers. Yeah,
Yes.
I got 49ers.
Got 49ers? Okay, very good. All right, so, well, that does it for us, man. It's always good to see you, my friend. And Bryce joining us in the pod. You want to talk about a cast of misfits? I'm telling you right now, we got the best misfits out there. I'll tell you that right now. I love doing this show. Listen, I was dragging ass before we started this at 9 o'clock this morning. I'm ready for 7 hours of NFL football.
Commercial-free football.
I was looking for a nap after the first game. Now, I might still end up doing that because I might come down from the high, but I think I might be able to make it. Take an hour and a half nap from the end of the games to the nighttime games. See if I can grab that up, see what happmes.
There you go.
So, all right, my man. Always good to see you. We'll catch you later.
Likewise.
How's the schedule looking for next week, or do you know yet?
I think I'm good, but I'll let
You'll
you
let
know.
me know. You'll let me know. So, but that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. 3 hour, the best and fastest 3 hours of NFL talk and other BS that we talk about each and every week here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. That being said, catch you next week, everybody. Bye bye.